in the making. Word is I'm bringing home the bacon. Word is they don't see what it take to make it, but the word on the streets how I make it look easy. I'm flattering, cool, way too easy. Word on the street is I make it look easy. I'm actually smooth, it's far too easy. Word on the streets I make it look easy. Easy, 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 too easy. Word on the street is I make it look easy. Too easy. Make it look easy, but it's not easy. Whip got wings, yeah, I feel like Ron Weasley. Live like kings, so the money ain't measly. Hits like Sting, honey, you cannot beat me. Did it so casual, must be a natural. Heard him say, yeah, it was gradual, but it's diagonal, going up. Me in the capital, super compatible, got me like, let's go. Gotta hop in my step, gotta bounce in my walk. Rubber bands from the check, it was more than I thought. Fresh press, squeaky clean, wide awake, what a dream. Hey there, hi, hello, what's the word, baby? Tell me you know, cause I know that the word is this 10 years in the making. Word is I'm bringing home the bacon. Word is they don't see what it take to make it, but the word on the streets how I make it look easy. I'm flattering, cool, way too easy. Word on the street is I make it look easy. I'm actually smooth, it's far too easy. Word on the streets I make it look easy. Easy, 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 too easy. Word on the street is I make it look easy. Too easy.
Cough drops, sticky fingers, late starts. Your perfume lingers from last night. The feelings burned in my brain. Come on, I know you feel the same. You taste like lemon and lime. So sweet, baby, it's such a crime. Sing me like a melody.
Hello. I'm very excited. I definitely overestimated how long this tournament's going to go for, by the way. That's my bad. But you know what? Any extra hours we get together, we'll take. Who cares? Hello. I was like, in my head, I thought it was going to go for like 4 hours. It's probably going to go for an hour, hour and a half. There's 5 rounds. But you know what? You know what? Any extras, any extra. I anticipate today to be 2 to 3 hours. But, hey, you know what? 2 to 3 hours, we'll take it. We had a really good stream today, actually. Just under 6 hours. So, yeah, I apologize in advance if it's a small one. But, it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it, I promise. Hi, Rach. How are you? Me, 3 a.m. Morning, girl. Team Karlski. I know I'm with Noski. I love Noski. He's so lovely. So I'm really excited. I really hope. I think we can pop off. I think we're gonna pop off. John, hello. Max, hello. Pixel Toasted. Me, Rach, Volts, Godling's here. Virgo's here. Pizza, Doggo, Delulu. Oh my god, guys. Rach, hello. Good morning. It'll be worth it though, because we'll have a little mini stream and then I'll go to bed and then I wake up and I stream again. So I'm very excited. We're popping off. Oh my god, Virgo, yes! Hi, Tammy! How's your shift going? You're finished soon, right? Maybe in a couple hours? Hi, Al. Hello. I'm really excited. I'm nervous. I just want to get into it. We start in 30 minutes, so I thought I'll just play around and we can simply yap and go for it. And for breakfast, a pizza. Yes, I'm very excited. Yes. I had a bit of a toasty, but I think I might have another snack after stream. 4 hours to go. Oh my god, we're so there. We're so around the corner. We simply go again. Today was fun though. I really want to play some more Repo. I want to get better at these new monsters. And I did miss my mods though. I'm not gonna lie to you. I missed my stamina mods. 3:30 a.m. here, and I want to make a meal. Oh, John, you should have a snack. Nah, I'm joking. Unless. Hi, Grace. How are you? You carried Loki. I wish I could have carried better, to be honest. We kind of had some unlucky runs. Makes the sick insomnia worthwhile. Oh, no. Toast with peanut butter. Yes, that's my favorite late night treat. I don't know whether to be Marge or not. I think I might be Marge. With her hair down for hiding. I think she can hide with this. Or I'll be loser fruit skin. Oh my god, Mimi. Oh, we're so good right now. Hell yeah. Alright, here we go. Let's go. Mimi, hi. 3 streak! Sushi! I gotta make sure I post a clip or something for today so people don't lose their streaks. Marge is so U-coded. I know. I might have to wear her with her... Oh, let me check the Simpson skins actually that I have. I might have unlocked something else. Because her hair gives you away. So... I gotta figure that out. Now get to work. Tactical Marge. I also got to figure out some hiding spots because what I've learnt is it's going to be POIs. So, for example, one round might be in Slurp Works, and then we're all like 30 people are hiding in here, and then the next round will be in Camp Krusty. So, it'll be interesting to see how that's going to go because it's going to be quite small. Hi, DD. How are you? I don't ever want a Simpsons era to leave. Real. I know. It's so nice. It's so nice. But guys, thank you for being here. Super secret bonus stream. Gonna be a little one. But we will enjoy it. We'll enjoy every second of it. I'm excited for tomorrow. If I can say that. Oh, I lost. Oh. No, I didn't. We're back. We're back. Oh, the bus quotes. Have you seen all of them yet? Where did they go? What the hell? Where did they go? Yep. Marge with dad shoes. She's comfy. Hi, Biz. She's super, super comfy. I'm greedy. Hey, honesty, you being honest is really lovely. Mimi's ready on me. She's on my arm. We're doing it. Someone's here. I'm scared. I think it's a bot. Thank you. It's so good. The Simpson era is so good. Do not get me started on the Simpsons era. I can't believe it finally happened. I think I've been saying it for a few years. About how much I wanted it, and now it's here. We're doing it to him. We're doing it. And I'm playing with someone today that I met in Melbs, which is really cool. They're very sweet, so it'll be nice to vibe and see if we can win. Honestly, there's prizes for pretty much every place, which is really cool. It's the tournament is backed by Fortnite, so by Epic, so no matter what, we're walking away winners, guys. No matter what. And SpongeBob, true. You right. Unbiased opinion. No, to be fair, I did meet a lot of really wholesome people in Melbs. Oh no. Oh. I won. Short on toast. Wow. Impressive. Mimi, you want to say hello? It's a nice belly. Yes. That's nice. I like your spots on your belly. Okay. She's been very clingy today. Hey, psst, 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 psst. She said meow meow. Meow meow. I gotta keep an eye out. I gotta in 27 minutes. Okay. Sleeper team alert. Sleeper team alert. What the hell, Wishi? I have good ideas. What do you mean sleeper team? Wait, this is ours. We've got this in the bag. Although I am a little bit concerned now because it's POIs. So I wonder how hard this is going to be. I think it's going to be harder than I thought it would be. Oh no. Konomi, how are you, by the way? I might have underestimated. Oh wait, we're killing it. We're killing it. I have a cat on my arm. We have to win this for her. She needs biscuits. What was your genius? Oh, Tim. I'll show you, but now I don't think it's so genius. And Lufu might not even pick Slurpworks. And you know what? It's so small that probably everyone was thinking of it. I'll show you what my genius spot was. I thought it was good, but now I'm thinking it's not. Business is like, oh man. We don't need this at all. See, I think people will definitely try to land on top of these. Like, I think that's the most obvious spot. So I was thinking of going inside and going behind a vat. Oh, great. Oh, 1 second. Oh. Like that. Obviously, he found me. But you know what I mean? What if I hide behind there? Like, that's cute. The vat strat. You're joking. But do you reckon that's good? Because I think the most obvious thing is for people to land on the chimney. Or whatever that is. Am I wrong? You gonna sit here and tell me I'm wrong? I think people will be thinking about the chimney and then the seekers will be like, oh, obviously someone's on the chimney. And no one's gonna, and they won't pick the vat first. No? Am I wrong? Was a witch! I think it's a good strat. I don't know, we'll see what Noski has to say. Why is he in Team 7 chat? We're Team 3. Here, I'll go in Team 3 and wait for him and see if he notices. See if he notices. Jury's out, I think. No! What, you think it's shit? Nah, come on. Oh, great. If Weishi thinks it's shit, then it must be. Great. Guys, Dante's coming last. Nah. Top 3 at least. Top 3. Top 3. It's definitely a spot. Oh, wait, you think it's shit? Oh, hell. Oh, no. Not good. Not good. Alright, well, we have to practice another thing. Let's go Burns Manor. I look, I'm not even playing the game properly. I'm just trying to look for spots. Now, where would we go in Burns Manor? Hey, I didn't say that. I don't think you... Yes. I just implied it is crazy. True. Hi, Dill. My opposition. What? Dylan. Great. Great. We're so washed. Okay, think. Where could I hide here? What's smart? They'd have to go all up in this. Maybe it's smarter to be outside. I was playing Informant and go on. I think people would be in the main house unless we just hedge it. Because they're going to check the main house first, right? Dylan is an op now. I'm trying to think what I would think if I was a seeker. If I was a seeker, I would go in the main house first. But maybe I'm a huge piece of shit and wrong. Dylan. Real. It could be over quicker than we think, the 5 rounds. They said like an hour and a half, but it could be 40. If the Seekers find us all quick. Is it smaller? Let me know. I don't know. I didn't want it to be too big. I can make it bigger though if it is smaller than usual. God, it's actually okay. Oh wait, the rake. Wild comms. Guys, if you have any ideas, you let me know. I honestly don't know. I think the hedge is the smartest because they're probably gonna rendezvous inside. Mimi's gone again. Mimi's doing her rounds. Because I'm mobile. Oh, true. You're right about that. You're right. So I was thinking that deal, but it's POIs, so places of interest. So one round will be like, okay, only hide a nuclear power point. Like only hide Springfield Town Square. So I thought it was just, but then that would take so long if the whole map was free to do it. A little smaller. I can make it bigger, guys. Thoughts? So now I don't know. And then if we land here, where would we hide here? This is way harder. Unless you land on the burger. But that seems quite obvious too. It's actually harder than I thought now. This whole time I was like, oh, this is going to be easy. But I'm like, if I was a Seeker, I would think of the most out-of-pocket spots. So maybe I should pick the spots that they don't think. Back the vat! You said the vat wasn't a good idea! Hi, Patsy. I'm doing a tiny stream today. It'll probably be like 2 hours, but we're doing a little tournament, which is really cool. We're doing a little hide and seek tournament. I did not say that. You said that I'm a... No, I'm kidding. But you didn't seem that, like, proud of the vat spot, Tim. Like, talk to me. Talk to me. Talk, please. What the hell? What the hell? Oh, they called me a sock. Oh, no, the whole map. How you got the vat? Oh, okay. So I was playing a game, an actual game, and I got thrown in the air and I landed behind the vat and I went, oh, that's actually a sick spot. Well, I thought it was. I thought it was a good spot until I told you. And I was like, okay, that's sick. Good spot, good spot. And now I'm doubting everything. Now I'm doubting everything. But you know. Yeah. And now I don't know what to do. Tiwanowski. That's even if Slurp Works gets picked as a POI. If it doesn't get picked, I'm fucked. That's the only spot I have. So if they don't pick it as a spot to hide, I don't know. Doggo, 18 minutes. 18 minitos. 17 minutes. I'll be talking we'll be in the call and then it starts in like, yeah. How are you, Doggo? Hello. I'm nervous and it's the easiest tournament of my life. Meaning like it's hide and seek. We're not even fighting. But hide and seek's scary. Okay, what if it's this spot? Oh, it's not even a POI. No, okay. How many? 1, 2. Oh, I don't know. Dragon? Hello? How are you? Someone's here. Not sleepy yet? Perfect. I'm doing a very mini stream before I get off. I didn't realize how tired I was until I stopped streaming. But luckily, the tournament's not a long one. So we can pop off for a little bit. Oh my god, good morning. Good morrow. Am I in the right thingy, my bob? Yeah. Noski! Sup? I'm so excited! That's our duo! That's our duo! How are you? Are you scared? I'm in our chat.
Thank you for
Our
the
Team 3 chat.
sub. Put your ass away, child.
I'm nervous. My goodness.
Court Martian just
Martian!
subscribed.
Hi.
Kale hi.
Hello.
Been away watching VODs lately. Gonna lurk cause it's late here, but so
Lurk.
happy to catch you live.
How is your Oh my god, you scare me.
Psst.
Psst.
No.
Psst.
Are we winning this or what?
No, we have to win it. Have
We
you
need
been?
some
Nasty.
strats. Oh, hello, Zam.
Oh, great.
Nasty, go back to Team 7 so then we can be Team 6-7.
Nah,
I knew you were going to say that. I knew.
Guys, get
Sorry
out of our
about
team
him. He's
chat. We're,
Oh,
He's-
sorry,
he's-
sorry.
we're talking strat.
Sorry, just-
nah,
these
I'm
guys are-
joking. I'm joking.
Oh, okay.
No, you can
Okay,
stay. You
no,
can
you
stay.
but just, like going Team 7 will be amazing, though. And then we can be Team
Okay.
6.
Yeah,
and then we
Team
can
6
be
guys
the
is so
6-7.
cool.
Well, just for you, Zam, we'll go back to Team
Thank you.
7.
Yes,
Okay,
thank
alright.
you.
Love you guys.
Nasty,
Good luck, guys. Good
Love
luck,
you
guys.
guys.
Love you.
Love you guys.
Bye, bye, bye. Okay, strats.
Sorry, they're
strats.
my young friends.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Have you been
Yeah,
practicing
they're
or
my
have
young
any
friends, yeah.
ideas? Or nah?
Okay, so I have a couple ideas.
Okay, okay, okay.
I have a couple
Okay,
ideas.
okay, okay.
Some of them may be a little bit far-fetched.
Oh, wait. Should we get into a lobby?
Obviously, yes. Would you like to?
I would love to. I have
Let's do
one
that.
spot to contribute.
That's okay. That's all we need. I genuinely look. It's a pretty crazy map. So I mean, I got a couple strats, but it's like
Talk
I
to
feel
me.
like it's kind of almost luck.
Talk to me. I have a spot
So
in
Mhm,
Slurp
mhm.
Works, I think it's called, whatever it's called. Bottom left.
in Slurp works. Okay.
People think it's horrible. I think it's good. But I want to hear about yours because yours are definitely better than mine.
Okay. Do we want to queue into like a custom map without players?
Yeah, we can do
And
that.
Are we sweating?
No,
You know what I'm
no,
saying?
we're
Are
sweating. We're sweating.
We're in the lab. We're in the lab cooking right now. Is what
we're
I'm
in
hearing.
the kitchen
Like,
cooking up a storm.
yeah. Okay. I love that. I love that.
Okay.
Okay.
What's the code?
So,
Oh, you can set it. Never mind.
if you just click ready up, it'll
yeah.
just it'll just start.
What's up? Yo,
Oh
my
Hello,
God.
enemies. Hello, enemies.
Hello,
Oh.
enemies.
No, not enemies. Not enemies.
Oh.
Not enemies.
What
I
are
mean,
we
no,
then?
just-
What are
guys,
we?
you guys are the enemies.
Why?
no, we're just on
We
different
are
teams,
taking-
guys. We're just
We
You
are
know?
taking payments right now. We're going down the calls. If you want to offer anything, if you want to,
$1,000.
$1,000.
Five
$1,000
gifted.
what?
Five
Just
gifted. Five gifted.
to keep you alive. Is that
Last
it?
offer.
10 gifted. 10
Oh.
gifted.
Gifted.
20 gifted.
I mean, 5 gifted does sound good. 20.
50
gifted.
gifted.
A
50
million.
gifted.
Hold on. She's crumbling quick.
Sorry.
$1 million.
Sorry.
$1
million.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we're just like
Get
we're
a
just,
loan.
Like, make sure, like you guys all locked in. You know what I'm saying?
We're
like,
so
you guys
locked.
feeling good.
Yeah, we're locked.
We are.
Yeah.
What are the
Yeah.
spots?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
spots feeling
Guys.
good. Like,
We're testing it out now. Don't look.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
kind of
really?
running some.
oh,
Yeah,
so
we're running
pulling up the
some.
stream.
Yeah,
Wait,
yep,
so pulling up the stream?
No,
is what I'm hearing.
no.
Awesome. So Noski's
Okay,
live,
yeah.
right? Noski.
No.
Oh, I am.
What's up?
Oh, you're gliding 17. You should jump out of the bus, bro.
Great.
Sorry, guys. Chat. I'll be right back. Just gotta hide my screen real quick. I'll be right back.
Great.
Oh,
No,
interesting.
you can show us where it is. No, you can show us where the spot is. Come on.
Oh,
Nah,
I
10
left the
gifted. 10
stream.
gifted.
Don't hide.
Okay, yeah.
Oh.
Left.
Hey, I'm down for 10. Oh, you can hide your screen. I'll be waiting.
Great.
Oh, that's fine. It's all good.
I'll
Guys,
leave
we
it,
just
I'll
want you
leave
to
it,
know
don't
that
worry.
We
we're
wish
just
you
gonna.
the best of luck.
we're gonna have some fun, and we love you guys. You know,
Yep,
that's like
that's
you know,
all
I
it
the
actually
main
put,
is.
thing, right?
I want you guys to know I put this team in my most wanting
Yep.
to win top
Yep.
3.
Yeah.
So like,
We did.
Yeah.
just remember that. Just
All
remember
right,
that.
Legend.
thanks. I appreciate it.
Hey, I'm happy to help.
Hell yeah.
That was good
Of
live,
course,
bro.
of
Good job.
course.
Let's go. Let's
Good
go.
vibes, good vibes,
Yeah,
good vibes, good vibes.
Yeah.
Goodbye,
Yeah.
goodbye, guys.
Bye, bye, bye,
Best
bye,
of
bye.
luck.
All right, talk to me.
Man,
talk
those
to me. Talk
guys
to
on
me.
our case
They're crazy.
already. Seriously.
All right, talk to me.
Okay. Now, obviously, like you know, you're a Fortnite pro. You've been around the block. Like you know what's good. This is a classic strat. Now, this is a gamble. Okay, this is not. I'm not. Does this work? Does it not
You're
work?
doing the reboot?
This is obviously a classic strat. I don't know. If,
Oh, I have a
yeah,
good skin to
so-
wear. I have a good. Oh, I know. I can't wear it. Never mind. Do we just sit here?
Oh no.
Because we have to use certain
Just-
skins for it. Otherwise, I would have like put your skin on.
Yeah. Yeah, this is an original Fortnite skin, so it's usable. But
Oh,
like,
okay,
maybe we
okay,
can
okay,
find
okay.
something. Like, you have like Fortnite crew pack
I do.
by any chance?
I do.
You might have got the literal reboot man skin.
Really?
Put your ass away, child.
Ooh. So do you think?
But I want to
Timothy
feel like
just
what's chat
subscribed.
feeling about this? Like, are
Hope
they
you're
saying
doing
what is
well.
this idiot doing? Get him out of here. Should have had a different teammate.
No,
like, what are they saying?
no,
What
they're
are they-
so excited. They think your spots are better than mine. They say we're goated with the sauce as well.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
like I know, like it's a bit of a silly goofster gaffster kind of play, but
But here's
you
my
know,
thought.
we
here's
might
my
be down
thought.
for that one round.
No, I agree. Do you think they'll look in buildings more than outside first? That's what I'm thinking. So like we might be
Well,
safe.
I don't know. I know. Yeah. Well, it's almost like
Ah.
sometimes hiding in plain sight works. You know what I mean? Like you could
True.
just hit like a little
No. Oh,
somewhere on the
wait,
map. They might
you're
be like, oh,
right.
statue there. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, I agree with that. I
Even if
agree
you
with
follow
that.
me, like this is one location too, right? Like I think there's 5 different locations
Yes.
or something.
Yes.
So it's kind of hard to do different things in different spots. I mean,
I
like
agree.
I'm honestly so down for whatever. Like
Even
I'm
this. Hear me
genuinely,
out. Even this. Even this.
Like
Check this
chill
out.
with that.
Check this out. Right here.
Like where'd you go? I didn't even see you.
Middle of
Where'd
hedge.
you? Where'd you? Where'd you?
Like this.
Where'd you?
I'm right here. You like that?
See, even something like that, and just staying active, like
That's what I'm saying.
listening to where the eliminations are coming in and being like, okay, we got to go away from that area over there.
Because we
you know
can
what
we
I'm
can
saying? Like,
walk,
just
right? We can walk
maybe
around.
even keep it moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can walk around. I believe so. Yeah, we just can't use anything.
No, that's easy. Fine.
We can pick stuff up to hide our pickaxes, but
Okay.
like we can just
Prim,
hit like a
thank
little,
you. How are you, doll?
you know, grab that.
Good to see you.
Like I'm not a pro hide and seek. I've been a part of many hide and seeks, but I prefer to do the dumb shit. I don't know.
No, I agree. I
Like
agree.
I don't know if it's just because I'm just like
No.
even stuff like this. Like see how look, this might be a little bit way too far fetched, but see how they've got like this guy here. Like even doing something like this.
Wait, I have an
know what I'm
idea.
saying?
I have
Just
an
hitting a
idea.
little-
Check this out. Ready? Yeah. The seat. Exactly. That's what it's gonna do.
Yeah.
The seat right
Yeah.
here. Hold. Have a seat. Where is it? I gotta put it on my thing. Where is it?
If you just look at
Emerge.
me, it might pop up on your bar
Oh, okay. Oh shit, not that.
in your
Oh.
first tab.
On my first tab, does it? Oh, I
Yeah.
don't
So
see
if you
it.
go back to your
My locker? Oh, it does. Sick.
Oh, what one is it? Yeah.
Wait, that could be funny. I actually wait. If we get the town, we should do
Do
this.
you know what I mean? Like,
no, yeah. We should just be super silly.
oh, we're just watching a loser fruit video. Oh my god! Like you just
This
see
is
that
really
on the movie
good.
theater loser
This
fruit
is
video.
really
Like,
nice.
wow.
Oh,
Now
wait,
the
we have
thing
to have the
is,
dogs,
I
yeah.
don't know how killer the seekers are gonna be. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
I just
We just can't be
It's- it's
found
a-
first. That's
it's a
it.
funny spot. We might get bonus points.
Wait, we have to
Exactly,
unequip our
exactly.
dogs. We have to unequip our dogs. I just realized.
Oh yes, we do. Oh
Let's
yes,
go back
we
to
do.
lob. Let's go back to lob, and I'll show you my spot. It's not as cool as yours.
Okay.
though.
Yes. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I'm sure it's
Cammy,
cool. I'm sure it's
hello.
cool.
Well, it's because I want to do funny, but I also want to do like I had this one I
Well, yeah,
accidentally
we wanna
fell
have
into
a-
it.
We'll have a go.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
I think funny could work though because I'm trying to get into the mind of the seekers, and I feel like they would look inside houses first, but maybe they won't. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, what are they gonna do here? What's their strat?
Yeah, I just.
You know?
The thing is, these guys are YouTubers, right? So they've filmed so many.
They've
and
done
They know
like
where to look.
yeah, exactly. That's the point. What's that skin called? Do I have it?
This skin right here is called Breakpoint.
Ooh.
Oh. What is the reboot guy called?
Oh,
I
reboot.
think he's literally just called Reboot, man.
Reboot.
Man.
Why is my keyboard not working? Oh, wait. He's kind of zesty. He's kind of zesty with it.
Yeah, he's like, he like clocks it and stuff, you know? Like he's, clock it.
Clock it. Okay.
Clock it.
Let me change it. Although I feel like Marge
Those shoes, by the way,
You like them?
lovely.
Thank you.
Lovely. That's like dad mowing the lawn 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning vibe. You know what I mean?
And you're not wearing them? Where's yours? We have 7 minutes, by the way.
Oh yeah. Let me queue up. Let me get us in real quick.
And you can laugh at my spot.
Oh, I'm low-key down to wear Simpsons outfits as well, by the way.
Same.
I also actually let me change my skin.
Let me claim skins. Claim.
Oh my god, I don't have them.
I don't have. I think I can be Marge as long as my hair's tied back.
Yeah, Marge is perfect. I'm gonna be the default Marge, and I'm gonna show you why.
Ooh, that's a flex.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. My goodness. Oh my goodness. What's been happening? So much has been happening. Sorry guys, I'm so quiet looking in. Sav, hello. We're doing a little hide and seek tourney. I'm doing it like a mini stream, but I'm very excited. Okay, I gotta show you. But you have to be honest when you see it. You can't be nice because you're a lovely person. You have to be like, yeah, that sucks, or no, I can see what you're cooking. You can be honest. Okay.
The Simpsons.
Okay, boys.
All right.
Okay.
Springfield Slurpworks.
So I fell into this spot accidentally today, and I thought it was good. Now, first of all, I think people are going to land on the chimneys, but I think that's too obvious.
Absolutely.
Right? So
100%.
I'm not doing the chimney play, even though I think it's fantastic.
I think they'll get knocked down immediately.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to go in here. And then what you do...
Yep, I'm with you.
Now, people think it's stupid, but I think it's cool. We just go behind the vat.
Oh my... Stuck in a corner.
Yeah.
Low key?
But
I don't... Like, okay, yeah, like, we'll be running past. Like, if you're... Are you crouched there as well?
I'm not. I'm just standing. But I can crouch.
Yeah, if you hit a little crouch there... I'm not even joking. I can... it's crazy. I can only see your arm from the angle that I'm looking.
What about
like
now?
You're actually really well hidden there. Even from this angle near the door, I can't see you at all.
That's what I'm saying.
I actually like this spot.
But we need it. We need this POI.
Wait, can I fit in there as well?
Yeah, you can. We need this POI to be selected though. So if it's selected, we have ones for slurp.
Okay, beautiful.
Okay.
Write that down, chat. Write that down. Oh, homie.
Oh, homie.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
But now we have to get out with slapping it.
Oh no. Okay. Beautiful. All good.
See, he likes the spot chat. Everyone in chat was like, "Oh, I don't know about it."
No, it's good. It's
I'm
good.
joking.
You know what? I honestly, at least we've got a spot for a couple POIs.
Yeah.
We can just play it by ear. Other than that, like we can have some fun. We can sweat it out. Whatever we're feeling.
Honestly, as long as we're not out first. And even if we are, that's okay.
Now.
Yeah.
Oh,
the tire place?
We got...
Oh, that's not in it.
We got invited.
No,
you know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
true. That's so funny.
We
You're
are
right.
here.
That's
a W in itself.
I agree.
Okay, I do have a spot to show you.
Okay. How do you do?
I wonder if I can purchase the Ned Flanders skin.
Oh.
Because this can work for both of us in this area. Oh, what the hell? There's another boss here as well.
Oh, shit.
Wait. Okay, so does Ned Flanders always spawn here? I wonder. Yeah, he does. Okay, he's in his house. He's doing his thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to grab a weapon real quick. Yeah, see, now I know you've got the Marge skin, which is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you this.
Okay.
So what happens, right, is with these NPCs, when you... Okay, let's just avoid Evil Homer, because he is probably going to attack us. Okay, yeah, Marge just spawns here as well. Okay, this is perfect.
Okay.
Now, the reason why I want Flanders is you've got Marge, right? So you could do this. Let's eliminate her real quick.
Okay. Are we allowed to do this? Is this in the rules or is it
Now,
okay? Oops, sorry.
Well, they haven't said that we can't do this. They just said we couldn't use items. But if you get like a mini or something, she won't move. Look, I know it looks a little bit janky, but she's looking at you. But what you could do, like if you, yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
I get it. I get
and
it.
she won't move. She won't move from the spot as long as if they come near her. I think she might like turn towards them. But you know, you could run with it.
I mean,
right?
I'm ready. Yeah, we can definitely try it out.
So you could try that with Marge. If you don't have like you have like the normal version too, right?
Yeah. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, so like I feel like they'll be like, oh, that's just NPC, walk past. Like they're not even gonna it's kind of like a psychology thing, you know what I'm saying? Like they might just see that and be like, oh, it's just
Wait.
NPC, whatever.
Oh, we're gonna join the main stage. But I
Oh,
agree. I agree.
crud.
I'll see you there.
Okay, all right.
Am I in here? Okay. All right. I think I'm in here. I'm worried I'm not, but I think I am. Okay, good strats, good strats. I know, I love a Kiwi accent. It's so cool. All right, I think we've got it going on, guys. I think we've got it going on. I think if we go into this with just being goofy, with maybe some other good strats, I'm scared. The Seekers are going to be really like... I'm just a Chungus Canadian. Am I in it? I feel like I am. Also, I'm nervous. Guys, I just realized this is not going to be a very chatty stream. But thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I promise tomorrow will be such a yapper. A yapper full stream. I'm a Chungus Canadian. No, you're not. You're my favorite Chungus. Oh, why am I nervous? It's hide and seek. It's hide and seek. Oh my goodness. Oh, click to see attachment. Oh my goodness. Guys, what if we... Okay, my goal is top 3. But it doesn't matter. But that's my goal. What are you going to do? I wonder what the first POI is. Because the POI changes every... There's 5 rounds, so... I wonder what the first... Imagine if we get the VAT thing first. I think we'll win with the VAT strat, guys. I'm not even lying to you, but we have to get it first. If someone else might have the VAT strat. What if they have the VAT strat?
No, really don't want to speak. It's so embarrassing when everybody can hear you in Discord. No, it's so embarrassing. Okay. Hi everyone. What's up? What's up? Thank you guys for coming to the Fruit Cup. $10,000 Fruit Cup. A lot of money on the line with a lot of like no skill involved. Which
is why you've all been invited.
Hope you guys have hopped on, enjoyed the Simpsons season that's just come out and will be out till 29th of November. Thank you to Epic Games and Fortnite for sponsoring this tournament. I am very excited to have you all here. And excited to see how this goes. I'm just going to go through rules first. Ugh, boring. I know. I'm so sorry. I mean, they're already been put there, but I know some of y'all can't read, so it's chill.
Real.
I can read some of them for you. All right, so we will be doing 5 rounds of seeking. It should take roughly max 2 hours because we'll be just going into a POI. A moderator will put the map of where you can hide, and pretty much once you're at the bus, you go there, you hide, you got 60 seconds, and then 2 elite seekers will be on their way. We're watching all the POVs. We are not seeking, but Jackson and Winter will be seeking.
Imagine that you're in Hunger Games and this is like a life or death situation. This is how I want y'all to act and think, okay? It's not a game. This is real.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
You don't have to hide with your duo, but if you die and they're still alive, you know, that still counts for you. It'll be your team's placement, which will count for your points. There'll also be 3 bonus points for the funniest hiding spot. The only one will be redeemed per round. I've got just some rules. It's just like no items. And what was the other one? And stay within the POI that's on the map. Those are the 2 big rules. Sometimes zone will come on in. You can move around a little bit.
Can you explain what POI means to those who are new to
Point
Fortnite?
of interest, like a town, like Tilted Towers.
Okay, so they'll put up a map of their point of interest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you may run. You can try and run.
Great.
You can try. But Jackson and Winter will hunt you down.
So you can try to run, but you can't hide. But this is kind of the point of it, signing. But I will say, the only thing I'll say is that once the zone comes in, you will start to take damage. I'd advise trying to move to, you know, if there's still like a lot of people alive, to try to move it. It probably won't happen, but just in case. There's some big towns died and big POIs hide in. So.
And I'm reading here there's no healing.
No healing, no items.
No healing, no items, nothing. You got nothing.
No rebooting.
Oh, no.
So start running.
I want to ask a question, but I feel bad.
And I'd let you guys know that we have the 2 cringiest cringe hunters. So they'll be able to stop that real quick. No, it'll be fun. Good luck to everyone. I'm really excited to see who wins this. Now we're going to talk about the prizes real quick. Woo! Let's go prizes.
Woo!
So minimum, everyone will get $225 US dollars each.
That's USD dollars. For the Aussies, convert that.
It's pretty nice.
It's all Aussies, I think, right?
Pretty nice. New Zealand, pretty nice too.
Oh, very nice.
We have third place 500 each, second place 750 each, and $1,000 each for first place.
$1,000 US each. Make the hiding spots good.
It'll be you'll get points per round, and it'll be the total of the 5 rounds will be winning this. So it's not per round; it is for the whole thing that these prizes are for.
Oh yeah, and no stream sniping.
No stream sniping.
If anyone is caught stream sniping, you actually will be disqualified.
Or maybe the Seekers will pull up your stream and just continuously kill you on drop and give you a lesson and embarrass you.
Yep.
Yep. All right, I think that is everything. We're getting everyone into the lobby and readying up when you can.
And
you'll be in duos, 0 builds, you'll be getting the code, and hopefully when we're all ready and
Evergreen
in,
Terrace is the first one.
we will start. We'll be good. It'll be super fun. Thank you all for joining. I really appreciate it. It was late notice. This whole thing was quite late notice, but luckily Fortnite sponsored me to do 3 tournaments for the Simpsons season, so I'm really, really privileged to be able to host this.
Oh. Well, let's get ready to rumble.
Can't say that's copyright.
Oh, don't rumble. Don't get ready to rumble.
Ready to
guys.
Simpsons.
Oh my god.
Simpsons.
All right, you can split up for the teams and start
Oh no. We have 60 seconds. We have 60 seconds.
Oh my god.
Papple, hello. How are you? Sorry, I'm not chatting, guys. You're right. I'm overthinking it. You're right.
I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, all right.
I think we'll be fine.
We'll
I
race
think
towards
legit
it.
first game we just. Yeah.
And then worst case if someone takes it. Or should I put my hair down or do you want me to keep it up?
Wait. What are we talking about?
The reboot. So like if someone's there already, we can just we'll wing it. But we'll try.
Oh,
and
you
get
want
it
to try
first.
this? You want to try this
Oh,
first game?
Sorry.
Do
Do you reckon this POI is too obvious to do it? I'm down to try it if you want to goof first round, but if you think it's a bit too risky, we don't have to.
I think maybe we kind of like back pocket it and pull it out of our sleeve. Vibe.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. I
So
reckon
we'll
we
just
just run
wing
it. We just run it as "Hey Dilio, there neighbor," and homie, and we just have a good time.
True. Okay.
You did a cosplay of Marge, by the way.
I
Didn't
did.
You?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Thank you
Love
so
it.
much.
I love it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
I needed it. Slay. At least we weren't the last
Slay.
ones in.
Yes, we're good.
Oh my god. I think
Wait,
we're playing
chat. So wait,
Yeah.
I think chat was saying maybe because earlier I was testing out this strat, right?
Yeah.
You can actually sit in the top of the chimneys. There's like a small platform that you can sit in.
in the chimneys.
But I think it got like leaked.
Oh, like every
Yes,
chimney?
you can actually sit in the top of the chimney. Every chimney has like a small platform where you can, if you crouch, you can kind of like be hidden.
Well, we could pick like the least
they're
obvious
saying-
house, but do they think it's too obvious?
They're saying don't. Winter said he's gonna check it. We got insider. We got
insider
shooters. We got
gods.
shooters.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
we
my
got shooters
goat.
out
That's
here.
my goat. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
So maybe we'll just play it. I feel like maybe we play a hedge or a bush even. Like they're gonna check the bushes, right? Of course they're gonna check the bushes, but if we can see them coming, maybe we can get out of there. I mean, like I don't really have a strat for this first round. I think we
I
just,
know. I wish I could see the map properly.
the thing is, Carla, if we can be split up because if
Oh,
one person's
true.
still surviving, they're still getting placement for both of us.
Oh,
So
okay.
maybe
we split
the thing
up?
is don't hide together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't want to hide ticket, let's split up. Easy. Oh my goodness. Woo! Okay.
It'll be okay. It'll be
Okay.
okay.
Unless I just sit on the couch as
no,
Marge,
we'll
imagine.
still have comms. I mean,
Imagine I just sit on the couch.
I
People
feel
are
like
gonna
they
do
would
that
feel
for
bad
sure.
if they eliminated someone doing that. Like I feel like it's just
funny.
they won't want to pull the trigger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay, so you can confirm we are going to keep placement if someone's still alive.
Yes,
That's
that's
what they
what
meant.
Fruity said earlier.
Okay,
Yep,
cool.
yep,
Cool.
yep.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Wait, I'm nervous in a good way. I love hide and seek.
It's
It's good nerves. Good nerves.
What did my mum say? She said, "Nerves just means you're excited."
Well, she's right.
Yeah.
She's so
Shout out, Mum.
right. Oh my god, start.
Oh my god, man. Oh my god.
So excited. Who would have thought, you know?
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought
Who would've
us
thunk it?
meeting in Melb's PAX would lead to
Us?
this moment?
Not me.
Not me, that's
Not
for
me.
sure. Oh my goodness. My Shayla, I love you. How are you? I'm excited.
All right. Dun, 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 dun. We need some like, we need like a motivational speech or something. You got something? You got something in the
Look,
in the bag?
I just think, you know, like what your mum said. You know, she said to me once when I was 5, I grew up with the family. She said, "You
Yeah.
can do anything you put your mind to, and win that hide and seek fruit cup." And I said, "Thank you, thank you."
She did say that.
And I remember that.
Wow.
And I remember that.
Dude,
and
shout out, Mom.
And I shout out, and it stuck with me. That what she said.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It does. You know, some words just do. They
Yeah.
just do.
Yeah. So this is the moment we've all been waiting for. I've grown up for this moment. Please start it.
Sorry, I
I'm
just need to let that
nervous.
out.
Lufu, please.
I just need to let that
Wifey.
out.
Oh, let it out. Oh my goodness. Start it. Start it, Fruity. Start it. We need this. Oh my god. Guys, I'm so excited.
mm,
I don't know where I'm gonna hide. I'm gonna think. I gotta think.
220, dude. 225 just for rocking up.
I know. I mean, hey.
Are you serious?
Fine, I'll do it.
I
Okay,
mean, yeah, I guess. Like, I guess.
Sure. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, my god.
Here we go. Go. Let's go.
Woo! Yeah.
Hey.
Hey,
Yeah.
kill it.
Hey.
Kill it.
Hey.
Kill
Hey.
it.
Yeah. And we got this. Got us in the bag. We're gonna wear the hide and seek today.
Oh my god, wait,
yeah,
we're
we got it in the bag.
Slay. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, it's
All right,
happening,
lock
it's
in, lock
happening,
in,
it's
lock in,
happening, it's
lock in,
happening.
It's locking.
It's happening. Oh, I'm so
Okay,
nervous.
what are we saying? Do we want to go? We want to go
sorry.
opposite sides?
Okay, yeah, should we maximize?
We should maximize.
Okay. Oh my god, I'm so nervous in the best way, like
okay.
like Cheryl
Alright.
said. Okay.
Oh,
Lock in.
okay. There's actually like a full section you can't hide in. Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
reboot van would have been out on this. It would have been
Okay.
out. So that's good. We didn't do that.
Okay. Can I land in a tree?
Some of the trees you will just be sitting on top of.
Okay. I think someone else might land in the tree. We might have. Oh my god! Look at everyone! Oh my god! Okay.
Oh my god.
Let's see if I can sit in this.
Well, hey, Delio there, neighbors. All right, I think I'm just gonna go for that strat that I was talking about the the chimneys. I might need an item though.
Okay, that didn't work. I'm just gonna go on. I'm just gonna go. Should I just do this? Will they see me? I might just do this.
What are we rocking with? Are you just crouching?
Wait, someone's on
Carla,
the
are you
roof
just
with me
crouching on a?
too.
Yeah, Carla, you're just crouching on a
Yeah, should I not do that?
roof. Maybe. Well,
I have
I
an
mean,
idea.
as long as you can know where they are, maybe. Or, oh my god, my head sticks out of this. I'm so dead.
Oh.
I cannot. I just can't. Oh my.
Wait, his chances. Has he been found?
No. He's just. They're dropping their crowns, so they can't be seen.
Oh, okay. Damn.
Wait,
got
why
so
do I hear
excited.
someone with a gun?
I'm just gonna hide. I'm just gonna hide in the bathroom behind the door. Where are
Okay.
you?
I actually might have cooked a little bit with my spot. I mean, I don't know if I can be seen from far away, but I think I might just have to send this.
I'm dead.
I am. No.
I'm
No, that's
actually
not them.
dead. They found me first.
Carla.
They looked at the house first. You got this. You got this. That's very unlucky. They looked
It's
at my
okay.
house first. You got this. You got this. I'm down.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay.
I'm still alive. I think Winter's being nice to me. That's so funny. Okay, wait. Let me think. Did he find me first because I was the closest house? Maybe.
Maybe they were coming. Where are you on the map? Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd say
okay.
they're gonna go from where they came from. Yeah.
Okay, where are you?
I am on the opposite side.
Okay.
I might be okay.
Where are you? Like
might-
on the map? Like your house or something?
The brown house.
Okay.
I look. I'm usually the type of guy to make the hero play and come and revive you, but I think maybe it might be silly.
Yeah, I think it might be a bait.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you
All right.
say, and my apologies.
Okay. Do not apologize. Oh my god, they're near me.
You got this. You
I
got
might be
this.
dead too now.
People are hiding really good. What the hell?
Oh my god. 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 Oh my god.
You're my
my
goat.
God.
You're my goat. Like you saw you broke the
Oh my
window.
God.
Yeah, that's probably a silly idea of me. My bad.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Footsteps near me. Footsteps near me. Wait.
You're my goat. You're my
It's
goat.
shooting. Why is it shooting? What do we think of this? Oh my god, they're shooting near me.
No, you got this. You got this.
Oh, say
Can you see?
I don't know why I started singing that. I just
You
panicked.
just got to
I'm
sing. You got to
panicking.
sing it. You got to sing it.
Don't see me. Don't see me. Don't see me.
Oh yes, people. Look, this is good. This
Oh my
is
God.
good. This is good.
Someone Masked Wolf got knocked out near me. Don't do it. Don't look here. They're chopping down the trees. They're chopping down the trees.
Surely not that shrub. People are dying. People are dying.
Oh,
You're still in
people
this
are
for
dying.
us. You're still in it. This is good.
Good.
Yep. People look
This is good for
eliminated.
us.
Eliminated. Winter was really nice to me and left me. What a goat. That's the goat of all time.
Shout out
See-
Winter.
Yeah, see? Yeah, this is good. This
Another
is good.
one.
Look, you know what?
Another one.
You have placement.
Yeah.
You have placement right now. Yeah, look at this. Perfect.
Oh my God, another
perfect.
one. Gone.
We're not last. We're not last.
We're not last.
Woo! I was a distraction. I was a mere distraction.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, my heart. Put your hand on your chest right now.
There's a
Is
lot
it
going on in
beating
there.
like- Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is crazy. It's Fortnite hide and seek.
I know.
This is what life's all about. Wait, we're not last.
Pushing. We're not last.
We're not last.
We're not last. 22 players remaining. Wait, minus the Seekers, that's 20. It's 20.
20. Oh, that's so
Wait,
10
top
people
20,
are nearly
top
out.
20.
Top 20. Perfect.
Top 20. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Let me be your woman. It's stuck in my head.
Yep.
Stuck in my head. Sorry.
Oh, I love it.
Shout out Ned Flanders.
You're not. Some people. Winter's not thirsting.
Okay, maybe he's giving the opportunity for reses.
Yeah, but then that could be bait for them to come out. But then probably not.
He's a lot.
I don't know.
He's a clever cookie, that Winter. He's a clever cookie.
Oh my goodness. What a
Lazy.
knocks.
Oh,
see?
someone did that strat that I mentioned, by the way, about standing inside the character.
Oh, really?
Someone did that. So lucky I didn't go for it.
No, okay. Okay, so 19.
19. We're Kumbaya, my love.
Your random songs.
Kumbaya.
Oh, nice echo. Come on. Where are people hiding? I'm impressed.
We need to see more people getting eliminated in that feed.
There we go. There we go. More.
Overs down. Overs down.
I want to get
Top
to
20.
10. I want to get to 10. They're not near you though, which is good. This is really good.
That is very good. It is very good. I think they already checked this backyard, so they were like, "Oh, no one's here. Let's go. Let's move on." Another person.
If we get top 10, I 10 gifted to you as a bonus because this is crazy.
Ooh.
Ooh. I won't say no to that.
What do you want me to do? I'll do it.
You're perfect in every way. I think this is it. Look.
Just keep surviving.
16 left.
Oh my goodness.
16 left. Guys, this is goated. They're nowhere near you.
The most riveting gameplay we've ever seen
Here we
in a
see
Simpsons hide and seek.
a shrub. Come on, find more people, find more people.
A leaf whistling in the wind.
Ooh. We really need some
I'm in
people to
zone.
die.
I am in zone.
Yeah.
I don't have to move. That's good.
Oh, more people,
No,
more people.
Coco went down.
No. 15 people, 15 people. Oh my goodness.
Oh, this is kind of crazy.
14. Oh my goodness. Oh.
What I had. Oh my god. Okay, the person that was doing my strat allegedly just got eliminated,
Perfect. Rest in peace.
which means we would be out.
we would be out. Yeah. 13 left, 13 left.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Well,
Oh my goodness. Oh my god.
12 not including you.
We're doing it. We're doing the thing.
I really want them to kill
And they
more
said
people.
I'd never amount to nothing.
And look at us.
Look at us.
Look at us. My goodness.
We fly.
Okay. 10.
Oh!
11, sorry. Oh yeah.
Dude, I need to put a heart rate monitor on or something. Someone get the ambulance on speed dial, bro. I swear. I'm gonna have a heart attack. Oh my gosh.
Okay, we have a minute. Okay. Come on. Kill more people. Come on. Oh, chances of spectating. Wouldn't you like to be me, Mitch? Wouldn't you like to be me?
Oh, damn. Yeah, talk your shit. Talk your shit. Let him know. Let him know.
We're gonna let him know. I'm not playing. Come on. Why are the people not? Where are people hiding? Oh, shots.
There's 10 Thou Wow on the line. We ain't playing.
Thou wow.
Thou Wow. You heard that? I think the kids say that.
I think the
Right,
kids
kids?
definitely say it. We're so hip.
They say 10 bands,
Yup.
10 racks.
Yup. Noska's in the kitchen, Tim, cooking up a storm. Some steamed hams.
Yeah, just got my PhD in hide and seek.
Yup.
Just whatever.
Why are so many people alive?
Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. My heart rate just went up 30. I swear to God. It might be over.
No, 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 no.
They're on the roof. 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 They're on the roof.
Where is everyone hiding?
I don't know. We're not gonna get zoned though. I've got
You-
50 seconds and I have to start creeping.
You have 2 coconuts. I think you wait. I think
I
we
can't
wait.
pop these. I just grabbed them to
Oh,
like hide my
but
pickaxe.
you can't heal? You can't heal. Okay.
No heals. No
Oh,
heals.
I
no heals,
reckon
no
we
heals.
wait because it's only 1 tick. I reckon we wait until the circles forms.
Yeah, on me. Yeah, literally. I'll use 100 health. I'll use it all up.
You don't even. You have. It will only take 20 from you max. You got this.
Okay.
Just wait. Wait for all the rats to come out, and because then they'll start shooting them.
Where's the cheese?
Yum, yum, yum.
Come on, come out the spots. Oh no. Oh no.
Play cool,
Close.
play cool,
Close.
play cool.
Close.
Play
Close.
cool.
Close. Close. They're close.
It's
They're
10
close.
people
I might
left.
be dead. It might be over.
No, no,
It
no, no,
might be
no, no.
over. I'm praying. But it
No.
might be. I've been spotted. I've
Hey,
been spotted.
10!
I've been spotted.
10. We placed 10. We
Ten!
placed 10.
We will take it.
We'll
We'll
take
take
10.
it.
You
Not
carried.
bad.
Hey,
Hey,
10th.
not bad. 10th we take. 10th
We take 10th. We take 10th.
Oh my god, that
But
was
now
so
we've learned a lesson.
nerve-wracking.
Now we've cooked now, and now we're gonna next round is gonna be even better. Where are people hide? Oh, oh, they're dropping like flies.
They are dropping like flies.
Okay, so it's harder for them than I thought. So we can. Oh, there's Marge. Marge, I just saw Marge on the left.
They didn't though.
They didn't. That's really funny. We can
take
definitely
10th.
move.
We take 10th, honestly.
Yeah. Our first game, why not?
Oh no. Oh, Marge.
Oh,
Oh,
fast
Fasty.
Not the death.
Oh, the emote is crazy. The BM.
Okay, there's people. There's a car. Okay, so we can use cars. There's Homer. This is so funny watching everyone.
I know, just scramble for their life. Mao.
Good strats. Good strats. They're slippery. They're slippery.
You-
Oh my god, they're
No.
looping.
Shiz, well done.
Oh my god, people are looping.
They just
Okay.
have to move without being seen. That's it. Like, you just have to be a sneaky beaky.
I honestly feel better now. I think next round we can be more sneaky. Because if they
Yeah.
just finished my house and they're on the other side of the map, I might go to Storm early if I can get there. If they're nowhere near me, I should run. Depending.
Like this homie right here.
Yes.
This person was tanking Storm. Look, I know he heard them. Oh, it was Brox.
Oh.
Brox did so well.
They were hiding.
Oh my god, there was someone on it. That's wild. Well,
True.
it pulls back to the place as well.
One. Who's last? Who's last?
They won. They won, right?
Yeah.
They just come out. Are they just gonna stay hidden? Oh my
They're on
god.
the bus.
I see them.
They're
They're
on the bus. Who is that?
It's Kato. Kato the bus driver.
Nice.
Congrats. That's
Hell
huge.
yeah.
Oh, dude, the Grace superhero.
Oh, that's
It
a
just
good.
works.
That's smart.
Yeah. Do you have that skin by any chance?
I
by the
do.
way?
I do.
We might have to low-key, you know.
So we can use that.
Pull
so
that out.
depending on the next POI.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That spot that you showed me with that skin.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
If we get that, that's absolutely ridiculous. Oh, that would be amazing. I might put it on anyway. Good first round. Good first round. We can do better.
Good first round. Yeah, we
Look,
take
I-
10th.
I-
Like, that's better than half.
I
So
flopped, but I'm not going to do that again.
it's okay. That was just unlucky that they went directly from that direction, you know? We didn't really have that sorted out. Like, we didn't really have that thought out.
True,
let's say.
true. You're right. What's the superhero
it's
skin
like-
called? Oh, just
There's a
Dynamo?
bunch of them.
Dynamo.
Dynamo works. Yeah.
Okay. So what's the next? Okay, I'll change my superhero skin based on the POI. I think.
Okay, yep. I'll do the same as you.
Okay.
Hey,
Oh
we
my
did
God.
okay. 10th is
Hey,
10th we take.
weren't first.
10th
Well,
we
I
take.
was first, but
Mhm,
we
mhm.
weren't first out. Oh my god. What do we got? I'm nervous. What's our next one? Imagine we get the one that I want.
It hasn't been announced yet, but
Okay. Oh my god.
I'm not sure what the points per place is. I'm
True.
but I assume it's just being consistent will be
Oh, I should
good
take
for you
this off.
because it's a cumulative.
True.
Cumulative.
Accumulative.
Anemone.
An anemone. Hi Chris, hi Kay, hi Rach. Yippee! 1,000 as well. Sorry, I'm not yapping. I'm nervous, but I'm excited. This is the play. This is the play. I think, guys, I do have to move. But also, I don't need to if I don't need to. You know what I mean? Guys, we do in fact got this. We're waiting for the next POI. Is it fun to watch? Are you enjoying it? I love hide and seek. We tried to do this with Delulu, but we didn't use POIs. I think that's smart to do that. We could do that next time. We could make our own thing up. We have 4 more rounds, so that was our first round. That was honestly, I wonder if other POIs are going to be harder for them, because that was a decent amount of time for the first one. Maybe some spots will go quicker than others. But I guess it's a lot of people hiding. It's 30 people hiding.
Carla.
Yes.
I don't know if you can see the points channel in there.
Well, let me see.
Have a little look-see.
Okay. Okay, I'm
That's
still...
okay though,
That's
hey.
okay, guys. That's okay, because...
We got a point, baby.
We got
We're
a
on the
point.
board.
Oh, true, we are on the board. A lot of people aren't on the board.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Guys, so
Mhm.
10th gets 1 point, but we're going to take it. Because 8th,
We got
9th, 10th gets 1 point. So it's okay. All we need is, you know what? If we get a couple of 6, 5, 4, that'll bump us up a little bit.
Exactly.
Was the code out? Okay, the code's out.
Code's out. All right, let me load this in.
I wonder, because I really wanted to land on the big vat. Oh, it's not in the map boundaries. Never mind. I wonder if there's a vat in this one.
A vat, you say?
Yes.
Oh,
First,
I don't know. I don't know about
is
this place.
5 points. Music. Okay, because what if this has the same thing as the other place does? Like that big container. I call it a
Well,
vat.
we can. Yeah, no, that's good. Cause yeah, I get it. Cause like Joker fell into one of those. You know what I'm saying? Like I get
That's
it.
what I'm saying.
Like toxic vat, pull a toxic vat. I understand. Cultured. Yes, I agree. I'm down. I'm so down.
Okay. But we can.
I'm gonna run like the dark colored skin or whatever.
Okay. Can I go? Let me see.
That looks too dark though. Like maybe is it lighter than that?
Can I get? Yeah, that's nice.
This one here?
I'm doing this one. We're on the board.
Well, how do I make me not shiny?
I think you need to
We're on the
click
board.
material. I'm using cloth, which is far right.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on.
Nice,
All right.
nice. Okay.
Beautiful, mate.
Beautiful.
Lovely.
Lovely,
We're gonna do
jubbly.
it. We're gonna do it.
We're
It's
gonna
fine.
do it. Yeah.
Oh, let's go. We're on the board.
We're
I'm
on the
happy with
board,
that.
guys. We're on the board. A lot of people not. There are what? Is it? How many teams is that are not on the board? If we place 10th and there's 30 people. 5 people are not on the board.
We got 10. Yeah.
5.
Five.
Yeah.
No, well, there's 10 people that aren't on the board.
True.
5 teams.
10 people, 5 teams not on the board, guys, and we're on the board. Oh, they're banning superhero skins? Oh.
Oh, so someone does it for... That's it. You'll be hearing from my lawyer.
Great.
No, that's
okay.
good.
Fair.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay. Fair. Good comms. Good comms.
Do you have a favorite skin? You want maybe we wear that?
I do. I don't think I can wear it though, but I do
Oh,
rock
damn.
Godzilla with the boots a lot.
Oh, that
Yeah.
chunky fella.
That chunky fella.
Okay, no more superhero skins.
Okay.
Dang Flabbit.
Dang it.
And no IPs.
Yeah. Except the Simpsons and Loser Fruit.
Do you have Fruity skin?
I do.
Good luck you rock that.
We can rock
Maybe they'll be
Fruity.
a bit lenient. I mean, to be fair, it is very bright and colorful, but
True, but also
like we wouldn't be here without it. You know what I'm saying?
that's what I'm
Shout out to
saying.
Lose Fruit.
We could do
Shout out to Fruity.
We could do a little 1-2. More Flanders.
okay,
I don't
I'm
have a Flanders.
I have a Marge though,
Yeah.
but it's just like that here. You know what
I
I'm saying?
know. We can pull
That
it back,
hair.
but still a lot.
God damn.
God damn. Chimes, good night, doll. I appreciate you. We are both fruity.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh my god, we're starting.
my god, are we starting?
Oh my god. Shake it off. Big round 2 performance.
Big round 2.
This is it.
Ooge.
This is the one. I'm not gonna die first this time.
Ooge.
Imagine every round I do. No, I'm not. I gotta.
No, don't say that.
No,
Don't
I'm
put that
gonna-
energy out there, you know?
I'm not, because I gotta go somewhere where they're not gonna land. Because I landed where they landed and just hid. I panicked, so I need to go further in and cook.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
There's like containers here. There's like big buildings with office levels on them.
Yeah.
I know.
FTV,
just
find
little-
the vat. Find the vat. Find the vat.
The vat. Find the vat. Find the vat.
Oh god. Lock in, guys. Doing it for the vat. Start it.
Doing it for the vat. Vat gang. Vat life.
Yeah. Oh my god, just let me get a vat. Let me hide. I also like the strat of hiding separate. I'm so glad we were doing that.
Okay,
That's
yeah, because
smart.
I think like, yeah, it gives us a
Second
better chance,
chance.
I believe. Mm.
Oh, if that vat's there, guys, I fear I've cooked. There's no way you're looking behind a vat.
I fear I may have cooked.
I've cooked. Okay, chat room, are you starting it? I need this. Oh my god, ready up, let me in. Let me in! Started!
Could Loki run a purple skin? I know there's like mad purple walls in this place,
True, let me look up purple.
but it's like, you know,
Mm. I think this is the... This is Valentina. She's cute. Purple. Maybe Fruity is more purple. Or I can be the Budge. I can be a purple bird.
do you want to do it?
Oh, maybe we should stay as Fruity and get some points.
Down. Oh my god,
Oh, what?
I accidentally changed my skin.
I mean,
oh
she's
my god,
cute,
I
it's
thought we were gonna
okay.
get loaded in like that.
Imagine.
That's my luck.
Hi, Faye. How are you? Guys, we're playing Fortnite Hide and Seek. I'm not as yappy today, but I promise tomorrow's stream I'm going to yap it up. It's going to be so annoying. But we're locking in for this one. I died first last round. I made some silly mistakes. I broke a window. The Seeker saw a window. But Noski put us on the board with 1 point. 5 other teams don't have a point. So we're on the board. So this round, I'm trying to get at least 5 points minimum 3, I reckon. Yeah, exactly, Britta. Exactly. We're locking in. This is the one. Here it is. Woo! Wow!
Oh my god.
Lukey, I don't maybe. I don't think so because I'm actually more tired than I thought I was today and I have a stream early in the morning. So I might be locked out of a bonk.
I think one of the games I have to
But
send
tomorrow
a
we
reboot
will
for.
definitely
I
bonk.
just, it's like
Definitely.
given almost.
Yes.
You
This is
know?
it. I agree.
It's tricky though because they have certain sections, so I don't have to reboot vans in there. All right, which side do you want to go on? I'll go to the opposite side, find a spot.
I think I'm gonna try a vat on the right.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'll
If
go
there's-
like in this. I'll go
Okay.
in this building.
Okay.
Is that even a building?
If there's no vat, then there's no vat.
Oh, it looks vatty.
It looks
know
very
what I mean?
vatty in here.
Yeah.
Hi, Evans. Okay.
We got this. We got this.
Oh.
Believe in yourself.
Yep.
Believe in your ability.
Yep. I would want to get a vat before someone else does. Where would be... The word's starting to sound like it's not a word. Okay, where's everyone going? There's a lot of space they have to clear in here. Talk to me. No, oh no, I'm in the wrong place. I'm in the wrong place. I can't get out. Ah!
Oh, you can't actually. No, you're good.
Okay, I'm good.
We're good.
We're good. There's no vats in here. This isn't in zone.
Oh my god, that breaks the whole thing.
Oh no. A lot of people aren't hiding. A lot of people don't know where to hide.
I don't think that's in. Oh my god.
Oh no, there's not many good spots on this map. I'm gonna be honest with you.
No, this is gonna be like finders first, whatever, you know.
Oh, this is rough. This is...
Carla, I think you might be disappointed in me this round.
What happened?
I don't love my spot.
What is it?
It's just not a spot. Like, the people are dying around me. Carla, help!
Really? No, you got this.
I'm so dead.
No, you got this. Oh, I'm not even in zone.
Oh, my mother, I love her.
I'm not even in zone.
I'm dead.
I'm not even in zone. Are you dead?
I'm dead.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
We're dead.
Do you reckon I can get... Oh, they're thirsting you.
Do your thing, Queen. Do your thing. No, I like this spot. What are you talking about?
Someone else is with me, but...
It's okay. I like this spot. This is good.
I
I'm
hear
proud
them.
of you.
I hear them.
It's okay. You're blocked. You're blocked. Oh.
Oh! Oh! Oh, okay. Oh. All right.
Dude, screw this BOI. I mean, I love this BOI, actually. I actually love it.
Oh my god, look at the
What
homers in here.
What is going on in there?
They tried it. They tried it.
Homer.
That was a hard POI.
Wait, what?
I think that's a bot. Oh, nice one. I believed it. I believed it.
Oh.
Let me see who's around. Oh, they're on top of the roof. Nice. A lot of roof plays. Ooh, a lot of roof plays.
Yeah, wait, we should be taking tips. We should be taking tips. Yeah, oh, they're like doing runs.
I thought the roof
Oh,
was
Lexi- oh.
too obvious. Have I overthought this?
Maybe. Well, yeah, I mean, they have to get weapons and stuff too, right? So it's like...
Oh,
See, look at this
true.
spot. Up on the red things.
I know.
Like, they're just up high, out of reach almost.
I guess when they're on the floor, like, how are they going to get found? Oh.
Where is this person? Man, there's some crazy spots. I think we just got unlucky of where the Seekers landed.
Oh, okay.
Really?
I thought they would go off straight off on a roof, but But there's storm. Interesting, interesting. Okay, so maybe I just go simple next round.
think
No
we do it.
vats, roofs. They're just gonna tank the storm. Someone still has their animal, which is brave.
Oh, other enemies can't see your pets. So
Oh, true, true, true.
yeah. Yeah, look at this.
Oh, nice.
Luna Tuna is just straight vibing.
Oh. They're releasing the hounds.
Oh.
They're just tanking the storm. Interesting. Smart play.
Smithers,
Yes.
release the hounds. Excellent.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's just the play, right? Like stay near the edge, but don't be in. I mean, it's smart. Every placement counts. So
True. No, we need to do it exactly like this, Maddie. Where we just pick a POI. We definitely should. Oh, people are just going to tank health. For the very last second.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It's like whoever has the most health, really. Bro, I see so many people running around.
Oh, interesting.
Look, lost in the storm. One got shot. This person's
Yeah, that makes
still alive.
that makes sense. It's just yeah, it's just placement. So if you die in the storm, it's like, so what?
It's like whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Interesting.
Wow, Lisa won.
Hell yeah.
GG's.
Oh my God,
GG's.
GG's. Oh shoot. Okay.
Damn, not
alright.
our round, but that's okay.
No, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. Guys, the biggest comeback of the century. The last 3 rounds. See, that was a quicker round. That was much quicker.
It was.
Now I'm
was.
starting to think that I shouldn't do my VAT spot if we get the other peel.
You thinking stay up high, then move down with the storm.
Well, that's what everyone's doing, and I don't think
Yeah, that
the
might be the
Seekers saw
strat.
that. But then
I didn't really see them go up at all, to be honest.
But then again, if they fly in and they see me on there, and they want to kill me first with their pickaxe, it's a risk. You're banking on them not checking the top.
I'm fine with you taking that risk though, because I think it works if it pays off.
I also have this other idea. Hear me out. If it's Camp Krusty,
Yeah.
I want to hide under like the wharf in the water.
Okay. Okay.
But do you think that's too obvious? Do you reckon they'll check wharf first?
I think they will check it. I was thinking rocking something like this and crouching in the water.
Ooh. Wait.
But I also don't think that will work either. So we'll see what we get. We'll see what we get. And
True,
I'm
true.
lucky down to send it under a wharf. But definitely, like, I think being split is definitely
Yeah, we split.
the way. Yeah.
Oh my god. I can't believe people were right at the top and they didn't get found. Interesting.
It's okay.
Hey, I'm having fun. We're
You
winning
get those,
regardless.
you know? Yeah, exactly.
We're doing it.
This is the round.
Like Ned, cute. Does he have a stash comb? Ooh, what are they picking for next one? What do I want? That was a quicker round. I think honestly, there wasn't many places to hide. I thought that would be a better spot. There was not many places to hide at all. We're cooking. Oh, what do we have next? Any bets? Any bets? Camp Krusty or Oh, I don't know. Where else is there? I look exactly like this fish if I turn on my side at the right angle. You could never. You could never. Oh, typing. He's typing.
Loon. Bad strap. Bad strap.
That. Camp Krusty, I knew it. Okay.
Oh,
But the
okay,
wharf
okay.
is out of bounds.
The wharfs are out.
Okay,
Wharfs are
smart,
out.
smart.
I don't think we hide in the buildings. I'm gonna be
No.
honest. Like, I just think they instantly rush and check them all. Like, try to clear them out.
Yeah.
Maybe we just like.
Maybe
I
in
don't
the
know.
corner behind a house. Oh, I don't know. Where are they? Wait, I gotta check where they're flying in from, what angle, and go the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Low key, would putting a bush skin on like.
Well, I'm gonna put this skin on. I got an idea, but I don't know. Is it a Fortnite skin?
Let me
I
swap
think
the
it is.
code and then. Like, cause I'm so down to start memeing it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm ready. I got my skin.
What's the tree Jonesy called, chat?
Evergreen, Lieutenant Evergreen,
Oh,
LT.
like some. You know what I'm saying? Like even something like that. And
That's what I'm saying. Look at this. Okay, guys.
Yeah, let's do it.
One. I wish I wasn't lit like a tree, but we take it. This is the one. Oh my god.
Bomb, 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 bomb. I'm queuing us, hey. Yep,
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
There is also this one, but it's it might be a bit of a. It's kind of a little bit more standoutish.
Yeah, true. That's bright.
Could always hit one of these
We have a seat on.
and then hit one of these.
Yes.
Do you trust me to run with this?
I trust you.
I'm gonna do it.
I might join you on that one.
Prickly controller with the prickly pose. With the prickly pose, yeah.
Okay.
I think just literally finding a spot on the edge of that line out,
Yeah.
facing away, so your face is not showing, and boots. Maybe near some shrubbery,
Yep.
garden bed, perhaps. Why
Wait,
not?
this
Hey,
is
let's
it.
run it with a meme. Let's do it. I'm down. I'm so down.
This is it. Okay. All right. We're queued. Third round out of 5, guys. Lock in. I need to see the map.
Hey! We also have Bush Ranger too. Do you have that? That's not a bad shout.
Bush Ranger. I think so. Let me see. Bush.
He's a green boy.
I have Winterfest Bush Ranger. Thank you for the sub. That's cute.
Put your ass away, child.
Savannah,
We stick with
hi.
the cactuses.
How are you?
Savannah Nicole
Why
underscore
have
just
I changed my
subscribed.
skin? I didn't click that.
Carl's my love, I'm
We have
up late
3
tonight.
rounds
Yeah,
left.
yeah,
I'm
Carl's.
shaking in my
Sup?
boots.
That was a
Thank
close
you for
one.
10. How are you? Good to see you.
There we-
We're doing hide and seek.
Okay, we got this. Who's front of me? Let's have some fun.
Okay. Where is the
Let's do it.
bust going? Let's see. Show me the money. Okay. All right.
Oh, there's some people in here with the same strats. Look at these guys. Great minds. Great minds, these guys. Great minds, these guys.
Same strat.
They know what's up. They know what's
so
up.
funny.
All right.
All right. So they're landing in from this way or this way. So I'm gonna try and go back.
Okay. Over the far? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm down. I might go like over here somewhere then.
All right. I'll go somewhere.
Oh, wait.
here.
Is that even in?
Yeah. Okay. Lock in. Because we
Let's do
don't.
it. One with the shrubbery.
We can't. Oh my goodness. Oh. Woo. They knew about the wharf strat. They knew I was gonna do
No,
it.
I don't think we do that. I don't think
No,
we
no,
do
no,
that.
no, no, no. Now I don't know where I want to go here. What's in these houses are in, unless I go straight into a little shrub here.
Is this dumb here?
Do I just go like basic in a shrub? Oh no, that's too obvious. No, it's too obvious. Oh, this is not. This is gonna be an easy round. Oh, what's in?
This is going to be a quick
This is
round, by
gonna
the
be
way,
a-
I think.
This is gonna be very quick.
Yeah, this one's going to be quick. I kind of found a tree.
Excuse me,
And
I was here first.
Have you got a competitor over there?
I'm gonna die here. This is not good. Ah, where are you? Where are you? This is such a bad spot.
It's okay. Just send it. Just send it. Just send
There's
it.
nothing we can do.
Oh, I've been scanned. Awesome. I'm dead.
Oh no. Is this in? Should I just hide
Here
around?
they come.
them?
Here they come. Here they come. Here they come.
Brother, brother.
They're flying in. They're flying in above me. Why are they flying in from the side? Why are they flying in from over here? I don't want to be first dead. I don't want to die. Oh my god, right in front of me.
You got
I'm
this. You
facing
got
away.
this.
I'm facing away.
Am I in?
This person.
Am I in? Oh, I don't think I'm in. Oh, no, I am.
Not first dead. Not first dead. W start.
Wait, huge.
Oh my god, people are dying around me. I might actually be dead here. Please! Fortnite gods, send this seeker away from me.
People are running. People are running. They're not.
Yeah. Get them. Let them run away. Let them run away. Draw the seekers away from this area.
Are you running?
I'm running. I'm dead. I'm dead.
No.
Jackson!
Oh no.
Okay. Not first. We went first. Oh, just do your thing. Yes. 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 Yes, Carla. Yes, Carla.
Play it cool.
Yes, Carla.
Play it cool.
Amazing work from you.
But if we have the other guy, we're fucked. Where is he?
No, he's over yonder. You're good. You're good. They're both over in that same area. Purple and blue guy.
Okay.
Nice, Carla. Cooking.
Oh my god, where is he going? Left or right? Left. Left? Or is he back?
Yes, Carla. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, you're insane. You're actually insane. You're goated.
Wait.
Carla.
They're both over
Keep
here.
doing your thing. Look at that tree. You see it? He's dead. He's dead.
Don't be suspicious.
You got this. You got this.
Don't
You got this.
be
Deep breath.
suspicious.
You're incredible.
Okay.
You're the hide and seek goat.
Okay. Lupin.
Hello. Hyper up, chat. Lupin.
Okay, they've
Thank
checked
the
over
Lord
here.
for this tree.
They've checked
Yeah, I
over
don't think
here.
they come back.
We should be. Oh, he's here.
Oh, there's one there. You still have this bush here that you can use. You're doing amazing.
Oh, the other guy's around, I think. Play it cool, nearly top 10. We nearly went 3. Wait, one person out, and then we have a point, right? Because there's 2 seekers. So one more dead,
Yes,
and we got
correct.
a point.
Yes, correct. Amazing. Yeah, he's up on that ledge to your left.
Okay, we got a point. 1 point
Nice.
minimum. 1 point minimum.
You're doing amazing.
They're using balloons. Oh, wait, top 8. Whoa.
Nice. Everything here is more points.
Okay. Just let me know if you have any comms with, if I don't see anything.
No, you're good. You do what you got to do, Looper. You're doing amazing. You are doing actually amazing.
Yeah. Where are they now? I think they've.
Where those shots came from. There's one up to your left somewhere. I think still up on that ridge. Yeah, just destroyed that. And then one
There's 8 people left.
maybe over the. You're doing so well. You're doing
Okay.
so well, Carla. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Yeah, that's one there. That's one there.
I think they're both up
They're
there.
both up there. Both up there. Both up there. Mm-hmm.
All right, 6 people left.
He's gonna check that bush in front of him.
My goodness. 5 people left.
5 people left.
So I think we got like minimum 2, I think.
Carla!
We got 6!
Place!
Yeah!
You cooked!
2 points!
Oh my god, you cooked! You
2
actually
points!
cooked! Carla, you goat!
2 points! We have 3 points now, I think. Yeah.
Let's go!
Yeah. Hey, we'll take it. We'll take it.
You did amazing. You did actually amazing. Well done.
Maybe that's the strat, the loop strat.
Good point. The loop strat.
Yeah. Go off. No more VAT. We loop strat now.
We looper. We're loopers.
We're loopers.
Let's go.
Oh my god, we're doing that. Yeah.
You did that.
We did
you
it.
did that.
We did it. Yippee.
Oh my god.
That was exhilarating. It's so crazy when they get close to you. Oh my goodness.
Oh my
Give
god,
us
you
our
did amazing, Carla. Well
points.
done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Oh
2 points. 2
my
points.
God. Now we need to pop off 4th round.
By the way,
Mm.
I just want to note something.
Yeah.
It's 3 bonus points if you get selected for the like their favorite kind of vibe.
Ooh. Guys, what if we got a 3
Like
there?
3 points. That's top 5. That's top 5. Is it
Ooh.
worth going one of these rounds for like something funny?
True.
You know what I mean?
True, depending on the thingamabobby.
On the POI, yeah.
That should have bumped us up to maybe 10th overall place, I reckon, after that. We'll see.
Okay, cool.
We'll see.
Oh my god, you actually, dude, loop that tree. Huh.
That was
like
crazy. I wish I survived
Crazy.
a little bit longer for a laugh, but I'll take it.
That was very good.
Oh my goodness.
You did
Oh, this was literally me. Sitting on the couch. We've already done that part of the map, but I'll see what I can cook with, what the next one will be. Oh my god. That's crazy. That was so fun. Nero, you're okay, Muller. All good? All good. Good morning. A little mini bonus. We have 2 rounds left. We have 2 rounds left. And
that was sick, dude. Dude. Dude.
Dude.
Dude.
Dude. All right, we
Oh
have
my
Town
lordy
Square
lord.
next. Town Square. Town Square. Oh my god, I can't believe that. It's so fun. Town Square.
What's the mowing emote called, chat?
Mowing emote. You cannot leave the POI even when the storm is going over it. Oh, you cannot leave. Oh, so you have to stay within the POI.
Oh, you can't now.
You can leave, but not the POI. So you have to stay within the boundaries. Got you.
They did the nuclear thing. No, that was Slazy and Mao, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know.
It's Springfield Town Square. Could I like Loki? Oh, I did the wrong code.
Do I go simple? Do I do a roof?
I might Loki try and make. I like Loki might try for 3 bonus points. If you want to like try hard sweat hide.
Ooh, where are you thinking? What's your funny?
I'm
place?
thinking. So I have like a. Chat. What is the one where it checks the badges, the emotes?
Oh, the like the cop one. Oh, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I might put on like a literal like a bouncer outfit and stand outside Moe's bar.
Ooh, that's funny.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Chat,
funny.
what's it called? What's it called? The one with the where he pulls the tape across. He pulls like security tape across.
Oh, let me
It was
see if
last
I can
season.
find it. Tape.
It was like no entry or something. What was it called? It was perfect for like a bouncer thing. Yes, found it. No entry.
No.
I'm doing
entry.
this. I'm gonna send it. Okay, I'm gonna go for those bonus points.
You know what? We may as well have fun.
I did the wrong code again.
What could I do? Could I do?
Are you okay with me doing that?
I would love for you to
Like
do
I know
that.
it's like low-key risky,
Yeah,
but I
we
think
win
it's
anyway.
kind of funny.
We win no matter what.
We'd get 3 points if they chose us,
I think
and then
we
you still get to play it out.
Yeah, I think we send it because we're just having fun. We get a prize no matter what. Oh, what's the drop? Dip?
Dip, the one where you like flatten yourself.
Yeah. Oh, here it is.
Yeah,
Hello,
dip.
middle of the board. Hey guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Guys, you guys are also on the lower end. We're just talking to the lower teams because
Hello.
tournaments never really do that.
Yes, good. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I needed
Yeah.
that.
So, yeah, Carla, I
Yes,
put my
yes.
bet on you, and
Yes.
you were my pick to win. So, what's going on?
And you know, I think winning is a mindset now. And if we were to go off a mindset, we've done that tonight.
Well, it's not helping my mindset. You're not making me look good. So let's lock in here, guys.
Well,
okay?
you always look good. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
She's trying to.
Extra point on the
Bonus
board.
points,
Extra
bonus
point on the board.
points, yeah, I was like, yeah.
Damn. Hey, speak to me, lady. Might get some, eh?
Perfect. Thank you so much. We killed that interview.
Well done. That's a bonus point. I think that's
He
a bonus
loves
point.
us. He loves us.
I might be. There might be something wrong with me. I keep putting in the code, but I'm only seeing 2 players.
We might have to. Do you want me to try? Because it might be a little bit balked. We might have to do a restart. Do you want to?
Make you the leader.
Yeah, let's see if that works. Otherwise, might need a little.
Yeah, let me do that.
restart.
Let me do that.
Hold.
Yeah, give it a go. Let me know how you.
Alright.
Yeah, I'll read it up.
All right. Could be a little bit balkaroo though. Sometimes it does that. Should we restart? Maybe I'll redo. Maybe I'll do this. Custom key.
Did you copied and pasted it too?
I'll
Like
do
I
it.
tried that and it still
All
didn't
right,
work for me.
what seems to be the problem here?
It's not
Hello,
letting us.
sir.
We'll have to
Downey.
restart.
Hello.
It might be a little bit of a bug, but I'm gonna try one more
yeah.
time.
Okay.
We are
Gotcha,
copy
gotcha.
pasting, but it just doesn't seem to be putting us in.
One more
They're not
time. We'll
letting us
see.
in the club.
I think it. Maybe they're trying to. Maybe Epic's like, you guys are too good. Maybe we
That's
need
what-
to
I mean-
knock these guys out around.
Yeah. Yeah, it says Q plays 2.
Possibilities are high.
We might have to restart
Nice.
because it's saying 2 in our queue.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's fine.
Sorry,
I'm
guys. It'll be
sorry.
quick.
I'll
You guys
restart.
will be quick.
That's
I'll
right.
restart.
Don't be sorry. You're good. I'll be back in a bit.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
What Ben Walker?
Dang
I have
it.
no idea what you're talking about. Pookie? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my god, now mine's just like completely frozen.
Oh,
Probably
see-
it might have been mine. It might have been mine.
Oh, okay. We're 5th on the leaderboard.
Actually?
Yeah, we're 5th. So
Huge.
yeah.
Wait, consistent points is actually insane.
Yep. We are 5th on the leaderboard. Out of 14 teams, we are 5th, guys.
That's amazing. That was all you, by the way. 2-pointer.
Nah, we're a team. You distracted them.
We did it.
We did it. Can you imagine if we get some points again this round? We could be.
That's what.
This is it.
I low-key think this is the strat. Someone plays for the placement. Someone
Yeah.
goes for those bonus points. I low-key think I might be able to get a giggle out of this skit that I'm doing.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
All right. Booting back up.
Okay, let's try again. Strats.
Strat.
Yeah, bottom. Yeah, they said bottom M team, babe. We're 5th. What do you mean?
Bottom team.
Bottom end. What are you talking about? I'll join you. Just invite me when you're in the lab.
Roger that.
Okay.
Copy that.
Copy that. 5th place, guys. Wow! Because if you think about it, a lot of teams don't have a lot of points, so they might get points and still be on. You know, if we get some point, we could be up there. Okay, invite. Already up.
How we chilling?
We are importing the code as we speak, sir.
Oh my god, importing the code right now?
I'm hacking the
Just coding
mainframe.
stuff.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
just
I'm
coding
here to
stuff.
see
Yep.
it live.
I'm in. This is gonna put us in the thing. It's gonna do it. Come on.
Yay, it
yes.
worked.
We're in.
We're in. Perfect. Fantastic.
Thank you,
good
thank
sir,
you.
And we'll be back shortly.
Okay.
Yes, we got this.
We did it. We did it.
We did it. I think it might have been my game. Yeah, my game was probably definitely bugged.
Honestly, it happens all the time. All right, let's go. Wait, what do we have? I just realized. Oh, we have the town square. That's right. Town square. I'm gonna keep the same skin. Noski's gonna be a bouncer and play for the funny strat, and I'm gonna try and find a sit down strat. Honestly, if I do the same thing I did last time, although maybe I should let me scope. Let me scope it out.
You scope. You do your thing.
Scope.
Your thing, 21. Do your thing.
Do your thing.
All right, we got this. Let's do it.
All right, where is? Let's see. They are coming from that way.
I mean, they're gonna be. I don't know where they're coming from. I think they pop their gliders at the end of the bus, so I think they'll come from the south, maybe, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Let's go, guys. Lock in. Now,
Let's
what we
do it.
want here is at least 10th place. 1 point.
Yes, we need to be inside the top 10.
If you get the 3 points, which I think you deserve, that would be huge.
We'll see what everybody else is cooking up.
Okay.
But we can only hope. It's a gamble. Good luck, Sister
Gamble.
Magister. Let's do it.
Good luck. Not that we need it.
Right, where's Mo's
I'm
bar? Over
joking.
there.
All right. That's funny. Yeah, get on that. What about this? Is this really good? Hold. Guys, do you think this is too safe, or do you think I should send it? Or do you think this is really obvious? Should I change? What do you think? I'm under a tree and a shrub.
Kansas came and dropped the crown in front of me. Get this out of me. I mean, out of my face.
You can pick it up because you're doing a comedy bit. Technically.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
Do you think this is a good spot, guys? I think stay. I think we keep the first shrub. Is that crazy? No, I'm just gonna stay. Screw it. Eric, hello. Do you reckon this first tree is crazy, guys? No, I think this is better. This is better.
Who has the...
Are you in spot?
I'm in spot. I'm ready to go.
Oh my god, this is fun. If we get those 3 points, that would be spectacular. Oh, I hear them
That'd be
already. Oh, I
brilliant.
might be dead early. And that's okay.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I hear footsteps.
I hear footsteps too. Oh, I hear a vehicle.
I hear footsteps. I'm so sorry. I think I'm dead.
What's happening? They're coming straight in. I think this is them here. Hello, gentlemen. Hello. Hello. Let me see your ID, please, sir. You can go in. You're free to go in.
Are they
Oh my
like?
God, one of the seekers just went into the bar. I just let him in the bar.
Are
I
they
just let him
liking
into
it?
the
Are
bar.
they liking it?
Oh, oh,
Good.
I think they liked
Distract.
it.
Distract. Distract. This is huge.
Yep. Wait, it's actually working.
Yes.
I'm a new NPC. Oh, he's here as well. Hello. I need to see some form of ID, please, sir. You can go in too. Yep. All right, I've just let both seekers into the bar. I've just let both seekers into the bar.
Come on, 3 points. 3 points.
The best bouncer in Fortnite history right here, ladies and gentlemen. You don't see this anywhere else.
I have so many
Oh my
footsteps around
goodness.
me.
There's not been a lot of eliminations yet, which I'm a little bit worried about.
Yeah, I feel like I'm dead any second now. The footsteps are around me. Oh, we've got some eliminations.
I just got shot at. Does that mean I need to move?
Is 20 top 10? I think so. No, I'm dead. Damn it. You got me. Nah, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I couldn't walk around that tree. All right, you got this. Hey, all you have to do is just stay in here.
I've moved inside. Do I just stay in here? Do I block this door now?
You just gonna
I'll just stand in the corner. VIP booth? Yeah, VIP booth.
Yeah, do that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, VIP booth, guys.
Yeah,
Sorry.
nice.
What? Oh, there's someone in that corner.
No way!
I got you, bro. Don't even worry about it. VIP booth.
All we need
my
is 4
God.
more people to... No, wait. 2 more people to die? Yeah, and we get a point, right? It's top 20.
2 more, top 10. Top
Yeah.
20 is top 10 people. Top 10.
That's top 10, right?
I
20?
think. Where did we get the first game? We got 10th first game. So yeah, I think it's duos. If we... Yeah.
Yeah, this
It's
is
happening.
fine. This is fine. It's hide and seek.
I had to come inside. It was getting
This is
hot
my
out there in the sun,
teammate,
you know? Like, I'm not... My
Eric?
skin's fair. I'm not made for that, so...
And we're just trying to stay as long as
Can't
you
believe
can.
that worked.
Some people thirst you and some people don't, Hannah. So, like, say if I was down in front of them and then they left me, they could revive me. We've gone 10th, 4th, and 6th.
Those little eyes.
Oh my god. Okay, officially, 1 more dead and we've got 1 point.
Come on, man. Come
Right?
on.
Is that how it works?
Surely they've been through here. They don't
Oh.
check it again.
Oh wait, no, it doesn't work like that. Because
It doesn't
I'm
work like
dead.
that?
I'm dead.
Oh, because solos. Yeah.
So what do we need for it? How many
I
teams
don't
are
know.
left? There's 15
need-
teams left. Oh, okay. So when it gets
we need
to... Okay.
5 teams.
Okay.
5 teams to go down.
I got it. Good math. Good math.
That could be solos. It could be duos.
Hopefully they get distracted enough to leave you.
I think they looked over here early, so they won't come back until they've kind of cleared the rest of the area, you know?
Yeah. Oh, 22.
Do I go guard the back door?
15. 22 squads left. 22 players left. Squads. Okay, squads 15. Oh my goodness. I think they found the bit funny.
Don't worry, little guy. I got you.
I think they hee ha ha'd.
Yes. Yes. If we don't get those 3 points.
I'm shocked if we don't. Purely because
You
you're
know?
funny and I think you deserve it.
Thank you. Stop.
No, I mean it. I mean it.
What else?
What else? Your eyes as blue as the ocean. We all know it.
Stop it.
Okay.
Stop it. Thank you.
Okay, pleasure. Oh. Come on. Why are the squads still fit? There's so many solo squads.
Yeah, there's heaps of solos. I think everyone's running the same strat of splitness. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, please. Please 4 teams skedaddle so we can get... Oh, perfect. Okay, 4 more teams need to die
Beautiful.
and we get a point. And I'm stoked with that. And then your 3 equals 4. I'm kidding. But you do deserve it. I think they chuckled.
Uh-oh.
Okay, 3 teams left. Good morning. have seen him. Yes, they didn't kill him.
3 teams. I've kind of got like a weird little exit escape strat. So if they do come back,
Yeah.
I know I'm doing a similar thing, but I've got a strat. I've got a strat. I'm gonna try something.
Okay.
Okay. Like my break might be coming up, right? I've been working all day.
True.
Oh my god, still so many teams.
Some people are downed. I think that need to be thirsted or die soon.
I mean, to be fair, I could go and hide right now, but I feel like committing to the bit is makes it even funnier.
I agree. I agree.
And
Oh,
I've got a
the
crown and it's
statue,
just
true.
pinging and just
You know what? Good.
gold.
There's a lot of solos right now. We need them to be thirsted. I want that point.
Need those points, baby.
1 point, 1 point. Minimum.
That phone
I know.
is giving me anxiety.
I agree. It's too quiet.
It's too...
And the zone's gonna come, which is good. Low-key.
That's what I'm saying!
Oh, perfect, perfect. Come on.
Uh-oh.
Knocked out, knocked out.
Uh-oh. Carla,
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm a little nervous.
Understandable. You got this? There's still teams. I'm so confused. Oh, there's some shots. Okay, 12 teams. Two more teams. 2 more teams. We got that point.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious me. Oh, they're coming in. I think they're coming back around.
Commit to it. Oh, there's someone in the other. There's someone behind the other
There's
thing.
people-
One more
there's
team.
so many people here.
One more team. One more team. One more team. We got a point. One more team.
All right, time to go on break.
One more team. Don't move. Don't move.
I'm just going on break, sir.
Oh!
No!
Oh, so close.
Oh, then he answers the phone. This guy. Get him out of the bar.
Oh, we're
Get
so
him out.
close to a point.
Oh, man.
Oh.
What's he doing? Go and find people.
This is my Super Bowl.
GG's, GG's.
Oh, if
Who
he
tried?
killed him first, we would have got it.
Oh, my lordy lord.
No, that's okay. 11th. Oh, we were so close to a point.
So close,
So
man.
close.
But
I
how
like
many
the
solos
statue.
must have been up? So many.
So many solos. Look, you know what? If you don't get that bonus,
Maybe I shouldn't have moved.
I'll mail you
Someone
3
write-
points. You deserve
You'll
that.
mail
That
them
was
to me?
really good. Yes.
3 Carla
individual-
points.
Yes.
Nice.
That was so clever and unique.
We'll see how we go. We'll see how we go. I think we're in favor, but
But
we'll see.
regardless, we had a bit of a giggle, and
Yes, we
that's
did.
priceless. I've heard. Oh, that was so nerve-wracking. Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. All right, one more round.
Dang it. It's okay. I'm happy with how that went.
I agree.
At least it worked, you know? If they just... Yeah.
True, we could
Hey,
have
we
died
just,
earlier.
we just have a silly, goofy time sometimes, you know?
We'll have a little goof.
We have a little goof. Damn it, bro. So close to that point threshold.
I know. So close. Where's everyone? On the roof again. Oh my god. Maybe I gotta commit to a roof next for the last one. They're not checking the roof.
The roof. The roof.
The roof.
The roof is on fire.
Mikey, how are you? They're really committing to that roof. Oh, someone did the cinema strat. Someone did the cinema strat we were talking about.
Someone's doing it. Wait, oh my god,
Oh,
they
I
are.
forgot about that.
Oh my god.
Luna got some
This
points.
person here is insane. They were doing the same thing last round.
What the hell?
They are so good at hide and seek.
Yeah.
Oh, she won. He won. They won.
They got 5 points from that win. They're straight up to tie
Wow.
for first. That's amazing. That's amazing. GG. That's my gut.
GG's. GG's. Well done.
Jeej. Oh my god.
GG's. GG's. Oh.
Oh my god. Okay. Last game magic.
Let's do this.
We're just doing customs, Mikey, but we're doing hide and seek.
We'll see what the POI is, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Perfect.
Oh my god, and she's an artist, and she was full on doing the whole art thing.
Yeah,
That's so cute.
I know.
Oh, that's adorable. That's awesome.
Oh my god, I'm shaking
Good
in
on
my
her,
boots.
man. That's so cool.
I'm shaking in my boots. Last round, guys. Last round. Noski's my goat, Gumby. We met in Melbourne, actually, and he's just so great, and made a new pal.
Come
so
on, man.
When we were doing this, I was like, we need to team up. Noski, you have fans in my chat saying you're the goat, by the way, which I agree with them.
Yo, hello.
Yeah.
You're watching a goat.
Yeah, I met the goat. I'm a fan.
Yeah, that's great. You know, that's crazy because obviously I don't do face cam or anything, so not a lot of people like know what I look like. Actually.
Really? Hell yeah.
Don't leak. Please don't leak. Don't
No,
leak.
I won't
Don't
leak. I won't leak. I won't leak. You're on my private, but I didn't tag you. It's okay. That was a group pick. That was a group pick.
No, that's fine.
That's
fine.
okay. It's okay.
Chat, 100 gifted, you'll leak.
No, don't do that. Imagine like Tom Hanks is in here with his credit card and does it. We can't.
Do it.
We can't.
I guess I think they're calculating points or whatnot, and then
Who was the bouncer? Oh, respond.
who was the bouncer? Me. It was Vespi. Wait, maybe she was. Maybe she was a bouncer.
Oh, the ski emote
who
in the
was
cinema.
in Flanders?
Yeah.
No. Sorry, guys. It's hard to let everyone live all the time. That is fair. It is a hide and
True.
seek after all.
Cinema. Who was the bouncer? Well, you gotta
A mention.
a mention.
We might be in the running.
But
I just
you're
told
now
Glenn she's
ban-
banned from
Yes,
Moe's. Yeah,
yes.
no hard feelings, but it's all
From
good, man. Like, yeah, it's just
Moe's.
business, obviously.
Oh my
But also, you're
God.
banned.
Oh my god. Oh my god, okay, look. Fast might get this, but if we get it, I'm gonna be so proud of you, and I'm gonna be so excited.
Yeah, that's okay. Going for that is actually fun.
Yeah.
I was actually
agree.
like, and they left me, so we placed a little bit higher. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
All right, we have one more spot. I wonder where it is. It's duos, but we can split up. So if one dies, you can help place. No, that's okay, Gumby. Mikey, I know that was a fun stream, but that's okay. Oh my god, I'm shaking in my boots. Very excited. I know, I've had so much fun. He's such a good pal. I DM'd him today and I was like, hey.
do you want to have a little bit of a
If we
shit
do it.
this time? Do you want a little bit of goofing?
Well, where are we? Let's see what we are. Where could we be? Me, Loki. See, now I think I don't know whether to go for just a goof or if we should do like a roof play. We'll see what we get.
Okay. I'm easy for whatever, so whatever you want to do.
Hell yeah.
So down.
I just want to know what we have. Give us it. Tell us. I'm shaking in my boots. I think they're discussing potentially right now who gets the points. There was 5 rounds tonight, guys. This is the last round. The last round. Okay. The last melon. All right, we're in Burns Manor.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, we have to stay together for this one.
Oh my god, it's in the... Yeah. Wait, hold hands and be cute. You have to stay with your partner. Okay.
Okay.
What do we should... I think it's like, there's like a library and stuff in there. Do we want to like low-key go on a library date or some sort?
Is there an emote that we can do together?
Like a reading?
Yeah, like a... How do you look up emotes that you can do with someone? Must be
they're
sort and
called
filter?
synced emotes, I think.
Group. All right, we
emotes.
have...
There's some sitting ones. Oh my god, this one. Serenity's kind of cute.
What is that one?
It's like us having tea, sitting down.
Oh, perfect.
With like sushi in between us and
Do
stuff.
I need it, or is it okay?
No, you don't need it. You
Perfect.
don't need it.
Okay, and then what should I wear? Do you have Homer yet?
Oh my god, we have. There's a chessboard. Do we just play chess?
Yeah. Let's play chess.
Let's just play
Wait, that's
chess.
cute. Okay.
Okay, skin wise, what are we doing?
Well, we can do Fortnite. Can we do Fortnite? We can be Fortnite people. What's cute? Do we just do Marge and... Do you have any other one yet? Do you have Flanders? You do have Flanders. Marge and Flanders.
I do have Flanders. Yeah, we could do that. Or is there 2 skins where it's like the same kind of vibe but female male or something like that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
There's this one here. Wait, hold. Let me find it. It's the stone one. Do you have the stone guy?
stone one? Oh, the stone heart or whatever.
Yeah, I think so because there's a girl one.
I think I do. I think I do. Yes, this one. Love Ranger.
Love Ranger. Yes. What's my one? Oh, here it is.
It's.
Yeah. Perfect.
You got it.
Yeah.
Oh, so down.
Cute. Okay.
Maybe chuck a statue, like, emote on just in case.
I have
as
this.
Well. Oh, we got to be inside anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's not like they're gonna be.
True. Okay.
Yeah,
cute.
yeah.
We're slaying.
Go.
All right. Cool. Done deal.
Down.
Okay. Beautiful. We have
I know there's statues inside. I'm pretty sure there is statues inside.
Oh, what's that
I
pose?
wonder
Maybe
if
I
we
do
could
the...
look in. It's just called statuesque.
What's the prickly one again?
Prickly pose.
Prickly. I feel like there's another one.
There's T-pose. That's one. T-pose as well.
Maybe I'll do prickly. And then we have chess as well. Do we want to be statues with the statues inside, or do you want to do the chess idea?
Well, I wonder if we can break the top of the statue, and if there's like a base, maybe we can like take its place. Kind of vibe. Like just in different parts of the building. Or no, wait. We have to stay. Oh no, we have to stay with each other.
But if there is a base, that's so smart and cute.
Well, we could just pose up there together, right?
Yeah.
As like statues, and then yeah. Oh, so down.
And then if there's no statues, we can chess. Yeah, cool.
Yes. Down.
Cool. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'm ready. Load me in. Guys, this is the one. I don't know if we got the points last round. I'll tell you when the points are updated. Either way, we should be top 6 or 7, which is cool.
Bucket emote? What is that one?
This is fun.
Oh, the couch, the death rockets or whatever. No, we're sorted. We got our strap. We got a strap.
It is a fruit cup, Mikey. So, Epic sponsored Loser Fruit to host some tournaments. And we're doing hide and seek in the new Simpson map to celebrate the chapter. So, yeah, it's been really fun. Everyone wins something, which is cool. So I'm not going home empty-handed. And we've had a little bonus stream. I will be ending after this round, guys. Because I want to go to bed early tonight because I have a big stream tomorrow, but a little bonus, and I hope you've had fun. Yeah, good partner, good vibes. I know I haven't been yapping to you guys directly, but I've had a lot of fun. And then I'm live in the morning, and we're doing our normal cute stream. We're going to be doing a simulator, and then peak with the crew, and then mega bonk. It's been so great, hasn't it? It's been really good. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Truly. Last round vibes. Excited. I think we'll do this as a community, guys, but we'll have to do like POIs again. So if I'm seeking, it'll be like, okay, don't leave Tilted Towers, for example, or whatever. We can do something like this as a community, maybe with the shack. So we have 2 seekers. Concrete, thank you. Good night. I appreciate you. You're the best. Mikey, real. Yeah, so it'll be fun. Thank you all for being here. You're the best. All right.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
So we're going into the main building, yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Alrighty. All right. Wait, Godly, proud of you. Okay, so... Right
we'll go in
here.
the front door. Like, we'll fly... Yeah, ma'am.
Oh, wait, wrong place.
Burns
Where am
Manor.
Where is
I mean, you can probably win it if you go there. You should go there, actually.
That's so funny. Imagine. Oh,
You're like, you might win it from there. I got a feeling.
You're right, you're right.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Round
All
5, final
right,
round.
final round,
Ladies
final
and gentlemen, welcome to the Simpsons Fruit Cup $10,000 hide and seek.
Yep. Yep. I should have continued that, but I'm too hype. Woo!
No, we got this. We got this.
People are
Let's
going to
do
be
it.
on the roof for sure, but I'm not doing that.
Let them. No, we got to
Yep.
stick together anyway.
Okay.
All right,
I'm
front
trying to-
door access. Go
Front door,
straight
front
through
door,
there.
front
I'm
door.
pretty sure there's statues in this main area.
Okay.
Even at the front door, low-key, like, if we can't find that spot.
True. Oh, there's one here. Will it... right here. Do you reckon...
There's heaps in this main area.
I think it breaks
but
the
we
whole
can't break
thing.
them.
Do we
Do we just
stand
go,
on
like,
top
on
of
this
here?
table or something?
Do we do this?
Oh, yes. I love that. I actually love that.
Okay. All right, cool. I'm right in the middle of it. Are you on the left one?
I'm on the left one. I'm right next to you.
Okay.
I'm right next to you. I
Okay.
actually love this. I
Okay.
love this.
Okay.
They won't know.
Perfect. That's cute as. Okay.
I'll hit the same pose as you too, so it's like symmetrical.
Perfect. We got the 3 pointers! We got the 3 boners!
Wait, did we actually?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Oh my god, let's go!
Yeah.
Oh wait, and we got 1 point for placement.
How? Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, because the 2 seekers.
Oh. Wait,
They count as a team.
We got 4 points.
We got 4 points that round. Oh my god, Carla. Okay.
Wait,
let's go.
wait. We're doing it.
Wait.
Wait, so that's 4 plus 8 points. So 12.
Plus,
right?
Wait, are we actually on 12? Oh,
I don't know. Or maybe 8. Maybe that was...
no, we
Yeah.
got 3 the round before.
They posted at 9.
That's 7.
At 9, we will come
I
in
think we
10th.
got 1.
So maybe it's updated.
I think we're on like 9 points or something. Yeah, I don't
I don't
we'll
know,
have to find
but-
out, I guess, after this.
I'm still stoked.
I'm so stoked. Oh my god.
Who's that?
Someone's role playing. Someone's role playing as Fruity and Marcus.
Oh, they're getting married.
Oh, wait. Is that the Seekers? Wait, that might be the Seekers. I think it might be the Seekers. It's the Seekers. That was the Seekers.
Wait, no
That was the
way.
Seekers. No way. Not first. We take that. Just don't move.
Not moving.
That was Winter as Marcus and Jackson as Lufu.
Stop.
Wait, so our strats already worked, by the way.
Shredded.
Just want to put that out there.
Hi, Puffin. Wait. That's so funny.
Oh my god, it's working. It's working. Oh yeah, that's what we love to hear.
Oh.
Brah, brah.
Yeah,
Pew, pew.
there's two more teams. Two more teams
Ow, ow.
until 10th.
2 more teams already?
Well, technically, you take away the
Because
two.
everyone's together. Everyone's together.
Oh,
If they
technically,
find one person, they're gonna find the other.
wait. Technically, we're 10th because if you take away. Oh wait, never mind. Yeah, because if you minus
11,
2 from the
'cause
squads.
the team of seekers. Right?
11.
We just got
11
a point.
squads left.
We just got a point.
We just got a point.
Because one of the teams is the seekers.
Yeah. Do I move if I look at you?
We can look at each other. You want to do that? Hey.
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 We'll just angle in. I'll angle in like you are.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh my god. Okay, we got a point. We got a point.
We got a point.
Yep.
We got a point.
We got a point.
This strat got us a point. That means it works. That means it works. Okay.
Yep. Oh my god.
Hey, we're really doing this,
We're
huh?
really doing this thing.
We're really doing it.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Okay, they're coming.
Not me.
Hey, I don't care if we
I
die
think they
now.
might be
This
close
is,
by.
This is fun.
Check the roof. Check the roof.
Oh my god.
This is brilliant. Brilliant.
No, don't
Uh-oh.
kill us. No, we're
Uh-oh.
so cute.
Oh, we're spotted. Oh, we're spotted. Yeah, he's checking the statue. He's checking this, and we've been spotted.
No, keep us. We're
GG's.
cute. We're cute.
GG's, I guess. Yeah, we'll take the point. We'll take the point.
You know what? We got a point. We got a point. I'm
Oh,
happy.
I'm so proud of us.
I'm so
proud
happy.
of us.
I don't care. We got a point.
We got a point.
Woo!
Let's go.
That's
Let's
so
actually
oh,
go.
good spot. Good spot.
spot.
Good spot. Oh, that's so funny.
That's so good. W's, yeah.
Dubs. Oh my god.
Oh, now they go to the roof. Wait, is this an elevator in this place? What?
What? They can ignore you if they want, but I got word that the leaderboard top was out first. Not that it really matters.
Wait, what
now.
happened?
Or the people who are winning, I think, got out first apparently.
Oh, really?
So not that we
Well,
were
that's
worried
good for
about
us,
them,
I
but
guess.
I mean, we'll take
No,
it.
no, exactly. I mean, we're just goofing around.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. That was our favorite spot of the day, I think. Apart from yours.
That was cool. Yeah, that
Your
was
bouncer
cool.
vibes.
The fact that we could both do that and it actually worked, like,
Oh, they're under the
mwah,
stairs.
yes.
Someone on. Oh no, they're in a really good corner here.
Where
Where
are
is
these guys hiding? Oh, they're gonna get found. They're gonna get. What?
that?
These guys are not checking under stairs.
Oh,
These guys. There's some crazy spots.
oh my goodness.
Is there bonus points for this round, you think? I haven't seen any other, like...
We might be cute.
We might be cute.
We might
Oh,
have been
give him a high
cute.
five.
Oh,
Oh, he's running. He's running. Rox and Zed. The brothers.
good spot.
Uh-oh, I think they're about to run up on someone doing something.
You're allowed to move, but
funny.
you can't leave the,
Oh,
the
oh,
point
what
of
am I
interest. So
watching
we
right
can't
here?
leave Burns Manor. Ooh. Oh, they tried it.
We should be watching the Seekers, shouldn't we?
True.
Oh my... What's going on here?
Who's this?
Flipping... Doing tumbles in the bathroom.
Not them staring.
Kagity and Zamasaur. Oh my god, this main dining area would have been hilarious for like
Oh, a little
a feast or
moment.
something, yeah.
Oh!
Oh, that's a cheeky spot.
Oh, they're running. They're running. Who's left?
Sounds
they're in this
lazy.
spot.
It's like, oh my god, 2 duos.
And a
Two full
shrub.
duos, too. Wow, these spots are insane. What is the spot outside?
Ooh.
That's a perfect spot. They're hidden by the bush. They're gonna win. They're gonna win.
Bush tech.
Bush tech.
Bush tech. Bush tech.
This is a big house, by the way. Mr. Burns done well for himself.
That's what I'm saying. Where is? I want to see. Oh, the pop of this. Wait. Oh my god! They're right there.
What? He didn't.
What?
Blind. Blind.
They're right underneath.
Blind. Blind. My eyes.
They went past him in the. Oh, they went right
In that
past
room.
him. No way.
They've got the two greatest teams going up against each other right here.
Oh
Like what?
my god. I guess it ends when they die. If the storm gets them.
Specsavers.
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
They're gonna start losing it.
I can't believe they went past them. They have to check that place again. What's at the front? Are they gonna find them at the front?
No way. No way. Oh my god.
Right
Oh,
there,
he found
right
them.
there.
He found them.
Right
He
there.
saw them. He saw a foot. No way.
Nice. Yes. Okay.
GG's. Over in
Jeez.
Oasis. Moon and Shiz win.
Whoa.
They win the final round just because they didn't get seen in that instance. Wow.
My Super Bowl.
My Super Bowl. This is my
This is
Super
my
Bowl.
Super Bowl. Oh my god, is this it? Are we?
They know they can come out. Right, guys.
You can come
Guys,
out.
the game. You won. Guys, you can come out.
Shredded,
Guys, it's, okay,
pop
it's
off,
safe
though.
now. You guys won. Hello?
Pop off.
Or maybe
Listen
they
to
want to
your
see the
heart.
spot. I don't know.
Hell yeah. Wild scenes.
There we go.
Yeah,
they found them.
there it is.
No way.
Oh my god.
Congrats to these guys.
Woo, nice. Oh my god.
Oh, I've just got news that one of the Seekers apparently has sunglasses on. That's not an excuse.
Oh.
GG's.
Jeej. I wonder if we...
Hey, Carla, I'm proud of you. I'm
Hey,
proud of us.
I'm proud of
Look
us.
what we did.
I'm proud of you. We
Look
did
what we
it.
did.
We had some... Honestly, we just had fun. And we still got points. And we weren't
We
even
did.
sweating it.
And that's what it's all about.
Agreed. Oh my god, are they gonna announce the winners?
I think they have to do the points and then... Oh, they got rid of the last round point. Oh, maybe they don't want to they don't want people calculating it or whatever.
True.
So it
I
might be like
think-
a full announcement.
I think we at least made top 10, I think.
I think we did okay.
Which is
I think we did
really
well.
cool, personally.
Agreed.
Yeah. And our spot was really cute last round.
It was. It was. I just like almost like
Hey,
bonus points. First, like,
statues.
so.
Hi!
Hey!
Hey, loved your strat. It was very bold.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We loved it. That was fantastic.
Oh, I'm glad you guys enjoyed.
Yay.
It was good. Made the plates more bougie. Loved it.
Mm.
So we're gonna
Yum.
award you
Of
some
course.
3 bonus points of ours.
Yes!
Yeah. I'll cook
Yes!
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll cook with that. I'm gonna quickly talk to the winners, but see you guys in a second. Thanks for
Alright.
participating.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Back to back bonus!
Back to back, baby!
That's
Back to
7.
back like I'm Jordan in '97. Whoa!
Oh, oh, we
Oh
did
my
it.
god!
Back
Having
to
fun
back threes.
worked, guys. That's huge for us.
Oh, that is actually humongous for us. Oh my god. Guys, we're easy top 10 out of the 14 teams.
That's a huge 3 points.
Yeah.
That's a huge 3 points.
Wait,
We
4
got 4
technically.
points for that.
No,
we
there's
got 4 points for that round.
And we got 3
and that's
one before.
That's 1 point less than winning the game.
Is it?
Nah. Oh, am I tripping?
I don't know. Depending on who won, I'm not too sure, but I think
the points for getting first is 5 points, Carla. We got 4 points, and we came 11th.
Oh, true.
We came 10th. Sorry.
Wait, we are
That's insane.
actually bonkers. Oh, we got the
my
3
god,
points.
come back of the century.
We got the 3 points.
You actually called it too. You're like, watch this comeback.
Oh, it's not over till it's over. I reckon. Do you reckon
That's
top
true.
5 maybe? Do we do main stage?
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Oh my god.
Fingers crossed.
Oh.
Hey, regardless, we had a good time. I think that's the main thing, right?
We had a great time. Oh my god. Oh.
Back to back like Michael Jordan, 96, 97.
Ew,
Whoa.
Do we go finale? I think we go finale, but this was an absolute pleasure. Thank you for being on my team.
Thank you.
That's my
I am
pal.
honored. I am honored.
Let's
That's my
win.
pal.
Let's get some points.
That's my dog.
That's my dog.
That's my dog.
All right, brother. GG's.
You've been the best. I will talk to you soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Ta-ta.
Peace.
Bye. All right, we're in the audience, guys. We're waiting for the announcement. I reckon we got top 5. You know what? In your defense, Mikey, NZ, AU, we're together. You know what I mean? He lives in Australia now. I'm pretty sure. I think he lives in Brizzy. Guys, I think we might have got top... I don't care. But imagine like a top 8 situation. I'd be happy with that. Oh my god. And thank you for being here for the bonus, guys. There's a tie? Shit.
Hello.
Oh, there's still 20 people. Still waiting
yeah,
on
we're
some.
still waiting. Still waiting.
people.
There might be some. There might be a little. There might be some. We might need 8 people for a little bit longer. Everyone. Something has happened unforeseen.
Oh.
Didn't expect this, guys. So appreciate you guys being making this difficult for us.
Thank you all for joining tonight. I know it was very last minute, and
Hang on, there's 2 more people
it's
waiting.
been good. Well, they should get in here.
I think they're being dragged in.
They should get in here. Been good to watch. Been good to watch the silly places and everything. So this has been really fun. I cannot wait for this to be in a video. It'll be great. Everyone's been great. So we've got the final one. We do have a tie. We're gonna have to sort, which with a bonus round, but it only affects 8 people, so everyone else will be able to go. So in dead last, we've got Shaggity and Zamasaur with 4 points. Elite and AU Cheesy on 5, Jaxie and Lexi on 6, Chances of Koku and 8, with Dev and Maskwolf also on 8 points. AMZ, Brox, and Fasby and Luna Tuna on 10 points. We've got Rudism and Kato on 11, Carly and Noski, even with the bonus points, on 12. Now the hard part is the 5th to 2nd.
All with 14 points. Lisa and Worthy.
Oasis and Overstrand.
Moon and Shez.
And Zam and Chirpy, we're going to need to battle it out for that 2nd and 5th on a very final round. But the winners of tonight are Slazy and Malwin, 15 points. So congratulations. Congratulations.
We came 6 out of 14.
Everyone is free to go apart from those 8 people. We will be doing a bonus round to sort out the prizing. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this, and I hope you had fun. I hope it was run well. It's the first time running something like this. It was really fun to see all your spots. But yeah, that again, the people to stay for longer are Zam and Chirpy, Moon and Shez, Overstrand, Oasis, Lisa, and Worthy are the people to stay.
Everyone else, go away.
I'm gone. Guys, we came 6th and we had bad rounds. Like, that's actually really... Like, we had some rough rounds, and then we came back strong with 7 points the last 2 rounds. What the hell? Proud. Okay, guys, we came number 6 out of 14 teams. Hell yeah. Guys, my angels went longer than I thought. 2.5. Hell yeah. It's 10. Thank you so much for today. I know I'm loving and leaving you, but I have a stream in the morning. Guys, thank you so much. You are the best. I can't believe that. That was so much fun. Thank you for today. Thank you for the support. That was actually super fun. It was good being creative. Shout out to Noski. Such a good pal. So hype. So fun. I'm so glad. We got 250 USD each. So probably an Australian, like 3 something we got for that. And I'm not going to say no. That's amazing. I'll take that. I'll be taking that. Yoink. Anyway, thank you so much for the support, guys. You're amazing. I'll be back in the morning. We are doing a simulator into Peak with pals. And then, of course, we are finishing with Mega Bonk. No, not exactly. To meme around with. I'll put that on a bill, baby. I'm going to buy myself a Porsche. Anyway, I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for today. Bye. You're the best.